Chapter 1020. A group of old ancestors walked out from the Forbidden Zone. Their faces were flushed with excitement. It had been many years since they had been so happy. They stared at the figure sitting cross-legged beside the giant bamboo. Just the light of the great Tao rising from his body was enough to shock the old ancestors. First of all, they could see that this clansman's cultivation realm wasn't too high. But the light of the great Tao that emanated from Su Yan's body was filled with the charm of the great Tao. This was astonishing. This showed that Su Yan's mastery of the great path had reached the pinnacle. The countless strands of light of the great path were filled with the vast pressure of the great path. This level of mastery of the great path made these great ancestors burst with joy. This child's cultivation isn't high, but his grasp of the Tao and magic is too shocking. Just his great Tao strength alone is enough to dominate his generation. Some old ancestors had a high evaluation of Su Yan, but in truth, they were only looking at the surface. As for Su Yan's inner self, it was quite grand. The initial atmosphere of all things was released, but it gave them life and was filled with a terrifying charm. Su Yan's inner self was a condensed sea of chaos that took root within. When the vague energy of the origin of life was ignited, the sea of chaos went completely berserk. In an instant, it expanded by a large margin, thick and heavy. Without a doubt, the potential of the primal chaos source gas was once again unearthed by Su Yan. Su Yan sat cross-legged like a god of chaos. His sealed body also shined as he absorbed the life source of the giant bamboo in the state of the body fostering art. His body was endowed with a spirit. His flesh and blood breathed on its own and shined. There was no need for Su Yan to operate on his own. His body was like a sentient body that surged with divine essence. Su Yan's emotions surged. His body fostering art had been perfected once more. Su Yan even felt that his current cultivation of the body fostering art was about to reach perfection. Although he had a premonition that something was still missing, with the current strength of the body fostering art, he should be able to attempt to break into the heavenly deity realm. This is an opportunity. It's too important to me. Su Yan originally thought that he had reached the pinnacle of his cultivation, but he never expected that his trip to Sky Bamboo Mountain would allow him to gain so much. The most important thing was that Su Yan's inner Tao had been perfected once again. 10,000 Taos were included in the eye of the sea of chaos, and they were filled with shocking divine might. They rippled with turbulent waves, and the power of his great Tao had soared by a large margin. This was too important. In the future, when Su Yan ascended and entered the domain of the Great Path, he would definitely erupt into an extremely powerful domain. Even his combat ability would be enhanced. Good. Right, whose descendant is this? The group of patriarchs laughed for a long time. One of the patriarchs said unhappily, "Zhu Yuanxing, I've been asking for a long time. Why aren't you saying anything? Hurry up and say it." They looked at Zhu Yuanxing with scrutinizing eyes. Noticing that Zhu Yuanxing's complexion was not right, and even his forehead was covered in cold sweat, these old ancestors immediately felt that something was wrong. What was going on? There was hope for Zhu Yuanxing. Why was this old man so scared? Reporting to the patriarch, Zhu Yongjia immediately ran over and said respectfully, "This child is not a disciple of my clan." "What did you say?" The group of patriarchs thought that they had gone deaf or misheard. They widened their eyes and looked at Zhu Yongjia. Under the solemn gazes of the group of patriarchs, Zhu Yongjia was so scared that he was paralyzed on the ground. He said with a trembling voice, "Patriarch, this child was only brought here by my grandfather to take a look at Sky Bamboo Mountain. Who knew that he would run over?" "That's impossible." The group of patriarchs' expressions changed drastically. How could an outsider disciple gain the approval of the giant bamboo and even obtain 9 leaves? Who was he trying to fool? However, when they saw Zhu Yuanxing's pale face and terrified expression, these patriarchs were so angry that they were about to explode. Their chi and blood were boiling like a group of angry lions. They could not suppress the anger in their hearts at all. They were originally in high spirits, thinking that a peerless monster had been born in their clan. What was the situation now? Damn it. An outsider had obtained 9 leaves of the Great Path. Who was he trying to fool? All of the patriarchs were thinking, could this person be a member of our clan that was left outside? A clan that had only just returned? Zhu Yuanqing's expression was uncertain. Should he say that Su Yin ran over himself? That way, he could shirk responsibility? However, Zhu Yuanqing almost burst into tears when he thought about Su Yan's backer. He transmitted a voice message to inform them of Su Yan's identity. This made the group of old ancestors go mad with anger. Even the Sky Bamboo Almighties had said that they would not pursue the matter of vicious Su any further. Zhu Yuanqing, on the other hand, had invited ruthless Su to the Sky Bamboo Mountain. He had even gone insane and allowed him to come to the Sky Bamboo Mountain. So be it if he came, but how could Su Yin obtain the 9 bamboo leaves? This was too illogical. These were clearly the clan's foundation. How could an outsider obtain them? Come out. The patriarchs' auras changed. No matter what, they had to get Su Yin to come out and retrieve the 9 leaves first. Su Yin did not dare to come out now. The dragon totem was still absorbing the leaves. He realized that the giant bamboo was in a bit of a loss. This meant that the dragon totem had absorbed too much. Su Yin was looking forward to seeing if the dragon totem would become stronger after it recovered. Seeing that Su Yin was still not coming out, the patriarchs were so angry that their noses were crooked. Some patriarchs wanted to force their way in, but they realized that the giant bamboo had a terrifying pressure that prevented them from coming over. What was going on? Some patriarchs hurriedly called out to their clan's powerhouses. This matter quickly spread to the primal chaos zone. The 2 powerhouses of the Sky Bamboo lineage were shocked. An outsider had obtained the giant bamboo's approval and obtained 9 leaves. However, when that unusually majestic aura came into contact with Sky Bamboo Mountain, the 2 powerful auras dissipated completely like a tide. What's going on? Zhu Yongjiao was still waiting for the bamboo leaves in anticipation. However, he realized that he was overthinking. The powerhouses had retreated and even allowed the patriarchs to return first. These patriarchs were trembling. The powerhouses were not going to pursue this matter. Could it be because of Su Yan's backer? Moreover, they did not dare to pursue this matter. At most, they would make Su Yin hand over the 9 leaves. After all, it was Zhu Yuanqing who brought Su Yin here. This is strange. Quickly inform the Sky Bamboo powerhouses. These 2 powerhouses frowned in the primal chaos zone. They wanted to force their way in and bring Su Yin back for questioning. However, the giant bamboo was stopping them. They did not dare to force their way in. Even the great Tao immortal bamboo had formed a defensive posture. Was it protecting Su Yin? However, the 2 powerhouses communicated for a long time and did not receive a response from the Sky Bamboo powerhouse. This meant that the Sky Bamboo powerhouse had entered a deep level of seclusion. If they forcefully woke him up, they were worried that they would interrupt his cultivation. However, this matter left the powerhouses dumbfounded. What could they do? They could not suppress Su Yin, but the taboo behind him had stood out. What could they do? All of them were frowning. One had to know that the Sky Bamboo powerhouses had gone and left behind a message when they returned. This matter would end here. Buzz. Suddenly, a golden divine light burst into the primal chaos zone. One of the powerhouses reached out and grabbed the golden divine light. There was a piece of paper in it. Something big is going to happen. When the powerhouse finished reading the contents, his expression changed. He then shouted, "Someone is working together against the sealed heaven region. Quick, follow me to the sealed heaven region. Let's set off immediately." Things have really come to this. All sorts of terrifying auras surged in the primal chaos zone. The group of Sky Bamboo's old ancestors could not sit still. They came out of seclusion and rushed to the sealed heaven region. Old ancestors, Zhu Yuanqing, who was prepared to beg for forgiveness outside the primal chaos zone, was terrified. He thought that the group of old ancestors would come out to condemn him, who knew that they would leave in a hurry. This made Zhu Yuanqing cry. "What should I do? How would I know what you should do? This is your own mess. Settle it yourself." We have important matters to attend to now. The group of old ancestors left in a hurry. They immediately opened the interdomain transportation formation and prepared to rush to the sealed heaven region as soon as possible. Zhu Yuanqing was stunned. What could be more important than the change in Sky Bamboo Mountain? Moreover, a group of old ancestors and two powerhouses came out of the primal chaos zone. What were they going to do? Were they going to war? Could it be? Zhu Yuanqing also thought of something. From the end of the storm in the great Dao City until now, it had only been a few days. The entire primal chaos ruins was in an uproar. The bloody news kept spreading, causing an uproar. The sealed heaven region had suffered heavy losses, and half of its territory had collapsed. Even the sealed heaven region might cease to exist at any time. This incident caused a superstorm. Su Xianren's whereabouts were unknown, and the prehistoric Big Brother was being suppressed by the universe's heavenly punishment. The tragic situation of the sealed heaven region finally caused a boundless storm. One after another, the sleeping giants woke up and gathered their old friends to fight for a future. Overnight, the world was turned upside down. All sorts of ferocious people who had been missing since ancient times reappeared in the world. Are they crazy? What are they trying to do? The terrifying incident caused a huge uproar. On this day, the world was shocked. Hundreds of terrifying torrents crossed the territory, penetrated the big territory, and rushed toward the sealed heaven region. Big news! A group of terrifying leaders have secretly joined forces to kill their way to the sealed heaven region. They want to massacre the sealed heaven region and take it down. The news made the deities tremble. Someone wanted to take advantage of the situation and overturned the sealed heaven region. After all, the sealed heaven region was full of temptations. They wanted to take advantage of the sealed heaven region's decline to take action. The powerhouses of the peak clans couldn't sit still. Once the sealed heaven region collapsed, they also wanted to get a share of the loot. Bamboo Moon speculation is correct, but it's too fast. Su Yan, who was far away in the Sky Bamboo branch, was scared. He stayed near the giant bamboo and used his divine sense to hear the discussion of the Sky Bamboo branch. He couldn't help but gasp. The Sky Bamboo branch left a group of big shots. Are they going to do the same to the sealed heaven region? Should be. Once the sealed heaven region collapses, who can sit still with the treasures accumulated over the years? The number is enough to make the powerhouses go crazy. But will the sealed heaven region really collapse? What if they have a taboo foundation? Su Yan's expression was uncertain. He wasn't happy or delighted. On the contrary, Su Yan had grasped the crisis. Once the sealed heaven region was defended, the problem would be serious. I have to leave the Sky Bamboo branch. I can't waste any more time. If the sealed heaven region really falls, I can take the opportunity to enter the broken universe and search for the reincarnation fruit. I can even step into the heavenly god realm. Su Yan made a prompt decision. He stood up and bowed to the giant bamboo. His harvest was too great. He left with a heart full of gratitude. Sooner or later, he would come back and find out the reason why it was unable to accept his bow. Su Yan was stunned. Chapter 10:21. The giant yellow bamboo had been rooted here for countless years. Su Yan walked several steps and looked back. He discovered that the bamboo was still there. He frowned. Could it be that this bamboo didn't have any intelligence? But that shouldn't be the case. Everything in this world had intelligence. It was hard to imagine how long this bamboo had been growing. It must have developed intelligence. He wanted to communicate with the bamboo, but unfortunately, it didn't have any spiritual fluctuations. Su Yan was a bit disappointed because he wanted to use this bamboo to leave the Sky Bamboo lineage. If it were before, it wouldn't be difficult for Su Yan to leave. But now it was difficult. He had taken the 9 bamboo leaves, so how could the clan let him go? He's finally come out. Outside Sky Bamboo Mountain, Zhu Yongjia and the others didn't dare to relax for even a moment. Those were 9 leaves, so how could they let him take them away so easily? When they saw Su Yan walk out from Sky Bamboo Mountain, their eyes shined with a fiery luster as if they were looking at a rare treasure. What are you doing here? Hurry up and disperse. Su Yin shouted as soon as he came out, causing Zhu Yongjia and the others' faces to turn green. Didn't he know that the villain was complaining first? Didn't he know that he had stolen their clan's fruit of good fortune? Someone stood out and said with a sullen face, "Your tone is too arrogant. This is my sky bamboo lineage. So how can an outsider like you be so arrogant? Do you think you are Su Xianren? Brat, I'm warning you. Hand over the 9 bamboo leaves, or you won't be able to leave." That's right. Don't think that just because you are an honored guest of my clan, you can act so recklessly. Leave the treasure behind. Even if your clan's elders came, you still have no reason to steal my clan's treasure. You should hand it over. There were many experts of the younger generation gathered here. They were all the core members of the sky bamboo lineage. They were all envious of the bamboo leaves on the gigantic bamboo. It had to be known that every single bamboo leaf represented a disciple of the clan in every generation. If these leaves were taken back from Su Yin, the clan might divide them among themselves. In the face of such a lucky chance, they naturally had to fight for it. How dare you? Su Yin strode out from Sky Bamboo Mountain. He pointed at them and angrily said, "Senior Sky Bamboo has already accepted me as a disciple. According to seniority, I am your old ancestor. If you dare to be disrespectful to your old ancestor, do you believe that I won't punish you for your disrespect?" Zhu Yongjia and the others were flabbergasted. The giant bamboo had taken Su Yin as a disciple. Did they hear wrongly? But he had to step, and he. T. But what should he do now? If the prehistoric big brother didn't show up, it would be harder for Su Yin to leave. This gave Su Yin a headache. "Great Elder." Su Yin walked over and said, "I heard that the sealed heaven region is in trouble. My big brother should be born soon. I need to return to the great Dao city to meet up with him." Hearing this, Zhu Yuanqing smiled and said, "Of course. Senior's important matters cannot be delayed. Follow me, and you will know." Without waiting for Su Yin to speak, Zhu Yuanqing waved his sleeve. He took Su Yin and left. Let him go just like that. Many people couldn't sit still. Don't worry. He has the 9 bamboo leaves. The clan won't let him leave. Zhu Yongjia was confident. The Sky Bamboo was a giant clan who could snatch food from the tiger's mouth. It was impossible for a junior to make the experts of the Sky Bamboo relent. Moreover, because of the matter in the sealed heaven region, a large number of important figures had left. When they returned, they would definitely know about this matter. Buzz! Su Yan's vision blurred. When he saw his surroundings again, he was already in a giant hall. Before Su Yin could ask again, Zhu Yuanqing's figure turned illusory. He said that he had some matters to attend to. This old thing. Su Yin clenched his fist. What was Zhu Yuanqing trying to do? Could it be that this old thing also wanted to wait until the sealed heaven region was over and see how things were going before deciding whether to let him leave? There were 2 divine king guarding outside this giant hall. Su Yin wanted to go out for a walk, but he was stopped. Zhu Yongyin said that the clan's almighty had something important to attend to and asked Su Yin to wait here for a while. Their words were very gentle. They didn't even mention the 9 bamboo leaves. This made Su Yan's face turn ugly. They wanted to put him under house arrest and wait for things to clear up before taking away the 9 bamboo leaves. However, Su Yan didn't know where they were. It would be fine if they were there, but it would be terrible if they weren't. Where is Bamboo Moon? Su Yin sat cross-legged in the giant hall with a frown. He recalled Bamboo Moon's words and felt relieved. He began to think about the path to break through to the heavenly god realm. In fact, the 2 divine king had been paying close attention to Su Yin and reporting the news to Zhu Yuanqing. He is cultivating. Zhu Yuanqing was surprised. He didn't expect Su Yin to be able to keep his composure. This showed that he was very confident. It seems that this matter can only be resolved when the clan's old ancestor returns. I can't make the decision. Zhu Yuanqing was worried. He warned Su Yin not to provoke this ruthless person. Zhu Yuanqing knew a thing or two about the current situation of the Sealed Heaven region. It was too tragic. It could be said that the clan was in danger of collapsing. One had to know that the Sealed Heaven region had a much stronger foundation than them. Currently, in the territory of the Sealed Heaven region, the rivers and mountains in the dark night were rippling with a murderous aura like the sea. No one would have thought that the tragic incident would happen so suddenly. Hundreds of terrorist leaders joined forces and launched a thunderous attack. They crossed a large territory and charged into the declining life Forbidden Zone. Along the way, they didn't even stop to rest. They rampaged all the way. They didn't give the Sealed Heaven region any time to breathe. They forced their way into the Sealed Heaven region and plotted to continue the million-year-old priceless treasures of the Orthodoxy. The million-year-old treasures of the life Forbidden Zone? Even a sky bamboo lineage sighed. If they could really take it for themselves, it would be a terrifying event. It would be equivalent to obtaining 10 complete top-notch universe secret regions. A single top-notch universe secret region was enough to make the Almighty go crazy, let alone 10 complete top-notch universe secret regions. This was the million-year-old accumulation of the Sealed Heaven region. The value of the treasures was immeasurable. In the vast territory, shouts of battle shook the sky. It was even more frightening than expected. Even the Almighty stood out and fought to the death. More and more great beings rushed in. Everyone kicks a man who is down. Many people weren't surprised by this. The prehistoric Big Brother had already blasted a bloody hole in the Sealed Heaven region. The protection of the Sealed Heaven region was also shattered, and its foundation was greatly damaged. This also led to the fact that when they really came, there were great beings who forced their way into the Sealed Heaven region and launched a search, excavating the immortal treasures and taking them away. You bastards! You usually respect our race like you respect your ancestors. Now you're looting a burning house. When our race recovers, you'll all be annihilated. An ancestor of the Sealed Heaven region almost exploded with anger. His eyes were red as he roared and erupted with power to fight the enemy. When had the high and mighty Sealed Heaven region ever suffered such a blow? They were attacked by a group, and even those who came were plotting against their family treasures. This was outrageous. You despicable people who kick a man when he's down. Our race won't forgive you. The great beings of the entire race howled in grief. If it was in the past, who would dare to? But now, the Sealed Heaven region's foundation had declined greatly. For great beings of the race had fallen. Such a heavy blow made it difficult for the entire Sealed Heaven region to recover from. Even the other two great beings had suffered heavy injuries, and a large number of the great beings of the race had died. This kind of loss made the great ancestors of the Sealed Heaven region so angry that their eyes were about to pop out. Now it was over. A group of people were looting a burning house. There were even shameless experts who kidnapped the women of the Sealed Heaven region. It seemed that they were eyeing the inheritance of the race. Some of the treasures of the Sealed Heaven region were also stolen. The robbers stopped while they were ahead and quickly retreated. Is the Sealed Heaven region really going to be annihilated? It's too tragic. There are definitely 3 to 5 great beings who have killed their way in. They even led a large number of terrorist leaders to ransack the Sealed Heaven region. Everyone kicks a man who is down. The Sealed Heaven region is a big place. Some of the terrorist leaders can't sit still and call their friends to make a fortune. Some of the onlookers trembled. Watching from the outside, the entire Sealed Heaven region was bleeding. War cries filled the sky, and rivers of blood flowed. After all, the race's Sealed Heaven region's foundation had been greatly damaged by the prehistoric Big Brother. It had lost its previous power and could not be used in a short time. Even the world-shaking painting scroll was in the hands of Qiu Ming. This peak, great Tao Saint weapon was not in the Sealed Heaven region at present. Some people felt that the Sealed Heaven region was too overbearing and had kicked an iron plate. Now, they had suffered such a heavy blow. Some people saw that no less than 1,000 treasures had been opened, and the light of billions of treasures surged and surged. These experts who were looting a burning house were completely crazy. They rushed in without regard for their lives and ransacked the treasures. Many people sighed when they saw the sealed heaven region, which used to be insufferably arrogant, fall into such a situation. You bastards! A great ancestor of the sealed heaven region was covered in blood. Looking at the battered sealed heaven region, he was seething with anger in his ancestral land and roared, "All disciples of the race, summon the primogenitor for me. Kill all the enemies and regain our glory." As soon as these words came out, the entire chaotic ruins seemed to tremble. In a short time, a group of old monsters knew when to stop and quickly retreated. Some of the almighty experts were shocked and had vague signs of retreating. Could there be a living primogenitor in the sealed heaven region? Could there be a taboo hidden in the race? In the blink of an eye, the incomplete sealed heaven territory was blazing with resplendent light. The people of the sealed heaven territory were roaring and shouting. They ignited their ancestral blood and poured it into the soil of the sealed heaven territory to awaken the souls of their ancestors. Some people felt that the sealed heaven region was just scaring people. The race was already at the end of the road. What kind of hidden power did they have? However, as soon as this thought appeared, an extremely strange aura began to emerge from the incomplete sealed heaven region. The aura crowded the borderless land. Several almighty experts panicked. Their hair stood on end. Their figures blurred in an instant and disappeared completely. Many hesitated and were shocked. Could it be that the sealed heaven region really had a hidden power? But if it really had a hidden power, why didn't it stand up and stop the prehistoric Big Brother when he attacked? Just as they were hesitating about whether they should retreat or not, a voice suddenly rang out. A group of people suddenly bled from their 7 orifices and fell to the ground. The bloody incident caused a great chaos. All the experts who besieged the sealed heaven region quickly retreated. However, it was too late. The strange aura became 1,000,000 times stronger. A supreme sense of oppression was born and spread in all directions. Soon, it shook the heavens and the earth. It was as if the sleeping creatures of prehistoric times were returning from their slumber. Chapter 10:22. The immortal aura spread out, making it difficult to trace its origin. It was as if it had crossed over from another time and space, crushing the whole world until it was dark and lightless. All living things lost their luster. This aura was too vast, so grand that it could drown thousands of eras. Everyone in the universe was frightened. A large number of people uncontrollably knelt on the ground, trembling. In fact, they didn't want to, but the energy born in the world made it impossible for them to resist. This was a frightening scene. The experts who attacked the sealed heaven region were kneeling on the ground in large numbers, as if they were repenting. Vaguely, there was the sound of rolling blood essence exploding. When they listened carefully, the sound was very small, but when it reached their ears, it was as if millions of lightning bolts were ringing in the depths of their souls. There were people screaming on the spot. Their souls were shattered, and their bodies and souls were destroyed. It wasn't just one person. Groups of people were mowed down like grass. Their bodies and souls were destroyed, and their bodies exploded. A long river of blood flowed. Many experts who joined forces to attack the sealed heaven region were crushed by this aura that had returned from a deep slumber. How is this possible? Is there really a taboo in the sealed heaven region? Some people's teeth were chattering. Could it be that another taboo had come out? The divine king felt as insignificant as an ant. They were trembling with fear, and they didn't even have the courage to escape. They were really frightened. After all, they were attacking the sealed heaven region. But now, a sleeping giant dragon had awakened in the sealed heaven region. This person hadn't appeared yet, but they were already in despair. They felt as if a supreme spirit was looking down on them. This is the aura of our ancestor, the aura of our ancestor. Our ancestor is still alive, still in this world. The deathly silent sealed heaven region was in an uproar. They were shouting excitedly as they saw the dawn of hope. The people of the sealed heaven region went crazy. They knelt on the ground and kowtowed in excitement. They were still high above, looking down on all the races in the world. The ancestor of their race had awakened from a deep slumber. A supreme overlord who looked down on the world was about to be born. Xiaoming was trembling with excitement as he watched from afar. In the end, he let out a demonic laugh. "So Yin, I'll see how you die? Isn't it just a taboo? My clan also has taboos. Without the backing behind you, you're nothing more than a stray dog in my eyes. Let's see how you can escape from my palm." Xiaoming's heart was filled with killing intent. He had never had such a strong killing intent before, and he had never had such a vicious heart. He wanted to kill one person, and that was Su Yin. In the outside world, groups after groups of fugitives screamed miserably. They all exploded. This was the sign of a supreme, giant awakening. Only the people of the sealed heaven region were protected by the ancestral blood and didn't die. The other experts who were hostile to the sealed heaven region paid a heavy price, as if they were cutting grass. It's really taboo. The powerful beings who had already fled millions and millions of li were terrified. They vowed never to leave the mountain again, truly fearing that this unmatched giant would come to settle accounts with them. The vast territory was trembling. The incomplete sealed heaven region was glowing as if it had recovered its past foundation. Many onlookers who were watching from afar lost their composure. It was similar to the speculation in the ancient records of their clan. It was very likely that a taboo giant was hibernating in the sealed heaven region. This was one of the strongest foundations of their race that deterred all races in the universe. The world's understanding of the taboo was limited. They didn't know what kind of domain it was. Of course, there were more theories that these people originated from prehistoric times. It was difficult to trace their ages, but due to special reasons, they couldn't come out and had always been in a state of hibernation. The world didn't know why the prehistoric Big Brother could roam the world, but the taboo was truly terrifying. Although there weren't many legends and records, the strength of the prehistoric Big Brother was a cruel reality. In just one night, it seemed that the powerful beings weren't strong enough. Could it really be the dormant taboo of the sealed heaven region? If it's really a taboo, would it target the powerful beings who were suppressed by the universe's heavenly punishment at the end of the universe's chaos? Who would have thought that the sky would change so much in just a few days? It's not like the universe we're familiar with anymore. All kinds of terrifying giants appeared, and too many people died. The powerful beings are no longer as terrifying as we thought. It's broken my understanding of the original universe. In a vast territory, a large number of onlookers retreated while discussing. They were all very worried. Only a few daring ones were watching from afar. They wanted to bring back information. After all, this information was too important. It was related to the rise and fall of the sealed heaven region. This extremely imposing aura was faintly discernible. It was as if it had returned from the ancient times. It crushed the universe's space-time and gradually moved towards this era. However, that aura never completely surfaced. This made people puzzled. At the same time, it also confirmed the records in the ancient records that the taboo wouldn't come out so easily. Their life essence was too majestic. Once they acted recklessly, they would be targeted by the universe's heavenly punishment. The people of the sealed heaven region said that he's the ancestor of their race. Someone suddenly thought of something and said in a trembling voice, "The sealed heaven region has existed for at least 1,000,000 years." But the ancestor they mentioned, could it be that he's the creator of this life-forbidden zone? A neglected question was suddenly raised, causing a huge uproar. People found it hard to believe. Could a man who had lived for so long be immortal? This made the crowd feel incredulous. 1,000,000 years had passed, but the ancestor of the sealed heaven region was still alive. Was this a bloody fact? Many experts exclaimed in disbelief. Some people looked in the direction of the sealed heaven region. It seemed that the sealed heaven region had regained the glory of its ancestor. It had regained the level of a supreme sect in the past. The fragmented sealed heaven region was now blooming with divine light. It emitted a kind of aura that could seal the sky and the earth. It wanted to cover billions of miles of rivers and mountains once again, dominating this vast territory and dominating a region. The ancestor-level existence had lived for 1,000,000 years. Could it be that he was still in this world? Regarding this question, even if a group of old monsters were to talk for 3 days and 3 nights, they still wouldn't be able to answer it. Most importantly, the ancestor of the sealed heaven region hadn't shown himself. However, it was a fact that several almighty experts had been scared away. Some of the attackers had also paid a heavy price. Of course, the sealed heaven region had also suffered great losses. It was one disaster after another. Their entire race had suffered heavy losses and was riddled with scars. This race's vitality had been greatly damaged. They couldn't help but sigh when talking about this matter. Madman Su was so ruthless that he almost killed an entire life Forbidden Zone. Some people suddenly became suspicious. Where was Su Xianren? Why did he seem to have vanished into thin air? No one knew where he was. I have a bad premonition. Su Yin, who was far away in the sky bamboo branch, suddenly woke up from his cultivation. He stood up and walked towards the door. Haha, I saw that you were cultivating these days, so I didn't disturb you. I personally prepared a table full of good wine and dishes for you. Before Zhu Yongyin could finish, Su Yin said in a deep voice, Where is the Grand Elder? I have an urgent matter to discuss with him. Hearing this, Zhu Yongyin was a little troubled. The Grand Elder has a high position and is very elusive. I don't know where he is either. Why don't you wait here for a while? I'll go out and look for him for you. No need. Su Yin strode towards the door and said, I'll go look for him myself. This, Zhu Yongyin and Zhu Yongyun's expressions changed. They blocked the door as if they were preventing Su Yin from leaving. What do you want? Su Yan's eyes widened. A powerful domain surged out from his body as he shouted, You're blocking my way? Is your clan keeping me under house arrest? We wouldn't dare. Zhu Yongyin quickly waved his hand and smiled bitterly. Little friend, don't make things difficult for us. I'll go and inform the Grand Elder now. Just wait for a while. There will be news soon. As soon as he said this, the atmosphere became a little cold. Vaguely, a vast aura of a god and devil bloomed. Su Yan's aura changed. It was as if a god and devil had risen from the ground. This was the aura of a king spreading out. Gods and demons filled the sky. This terrifying deterrent force caused the 2 divine kings guarding this place to lose their composure. They hadn't forgotten that Su Yin and Xiao Ming had exchanged a few moves before. This kind of ferocious person was not someone the 2 divine kings could suppress. Little friend, if you want to use force in my race, don't blame us for not giving you face. Of course, Zhu Yongyin was not an idiot. His expression also darkened. The dignified heavenly bamboo lineage would not cower in front of Su Yin. There are so many people who want to kill me, Su Yin said coldly. If you want to fight, then come. I want to see if your heavenly bamboo lineage can trap me. You are too arrogant. Su Yin, don't think too highly of yourself. This is my heavenly bamboo lineage. I hope you can take back your arrogant words. Otherwise, my race will not let you off easily. The 2 divine kings were furious. They glared as if they had been insulted. Their divine kings worked together to release a powerful domain. They wanted to make Su Yin admit defeat and take back his words. However, no matter how terrifying this aura was, Su Yin let out a low roar. The 2 domains trembled. He was like a peerless divine king, his divine power overflowing into the sky. Oh my God! A group of passers-by was shocked, and when they looked over, they saw Zhu Yuanqing's palace exploding, and the 2 God King experts were sent flying like kites with broken strings. They fell to the ground and coughed out blood. Many people were dumbfounded. What was going on? Why were they fighting all of a sudden? Even the 2 divine kings of their race had been sent flying. Zhu Yongyin's face was filled with fear. Was this still a young man? Even if he was relying on external forces, he had actually sent 2 divine kings flying in a single exchange. Isn't that person our race's honored guest? Some people saw Su Yan's appearance clearly, and their expressions changed drastically. This was a peerless divine king, and he was so young. This was completely beyond their expectations. Ha! Little friend, don't you think you've gone too far by attacking my race? Suddenly, a cold voice attacked, and fell into Su Yan's ears. He knew things were bad. Zhu Yuanqing descended from the sky. His divine might was as vast as the sea. The indistinct light of order overflowed and covered the sky. It sealed off the area and suppressed Su Yan's aura. He said coldly, "You even injured 2 divine kings of my race. You are too unruly." Chapter 10:23. Omega Mega Mega. Chi_1Z star. C_1M choking with emotion. I read a novel. His body emitted a divine radiance, and thousands of strands fell down, turning into a field of order that covered the sky. Zhu Yuanqing had a slightly condescending look. He already knew about the changes in the sealed heaven region, and that the clan had a taboo that was about to be born. Once such a background was revealed, it would shock the world, and it would also have the capital to compete with the prehistoric Big Brother. Faced with Zhu Yuanqing's sudden change in attitude, Su Yan said sarcastically, "Zhu Yuanqing, you invited me to your clan as a guest. You treated me as an honored guest, but now you're acting like this. Isn't your attitude changing too quickly?" Zhu Yuanqing's face twitched violently. Not long ago, he had regarded Su Yan as an ant and did not take him seriously. However, he never expected Su Yan to talk to him in such a tone. He immediately became angry and said, "Su Yan, it's true that you have a taboo behind you, but to use force in my clan is an insult to my clan. Do you think the experts of my clan are just decorations?" However, in the face of such power and suppression, how could Su Yan be weak? But, oh my God, the aftermath of the collision of invisible fields shook out, affecting the universe's space-time. Zhu Yuanqing's energy field was pierced, and a supreme sacred aura was about to spread out in all directions. Bastard, if it was true, then it would be too troublesome. You invited me here, but you're still making things difficult for me. Zhu Yuanqing, you're really bold. Zhu Yuanqing's expression was uncertain, and he was somewhat embarrassed. After all, he was the high and mighty great elder of the heavenly bamboo clan. Among the clans, he had the highest status except for the clan master and the old ancestor. If he were to give in like this, it would be very difficult for him. A cold and gloomy voice resounded. This distorted space was suddenly covered by the chaotic energy that filled the sky. In particular, one after another, terrifying figures that were faintly discernible floated out of the space. They were like gods of chaos that had created the world. "The experts of your clan put me under house arrest here and don't allow me to go out. What is the meaning of this?" Haha, little friend, I'm afraid you've misunderstood. We wouldn't dare to put you under house arrest. You're now an honored guest of our clan. 2 of the great ancestors spoke in a gentle tone. Their eyes constantly scanned Su Yan. They wanted to see what was so special about Su Xianren, who had set off a monstrous storm in the universe. If that's not the case, then get out of the way. I want to go out. Su Yan clenched his fists, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Another person spoke up. His meaning was obvious. Su Yan couldn't leave yet. The scene changed again, and Su Yan was teleported to a palace that was emitting chaotic light. The entire palace was intertwined with traces of order and was filled with energy that could suppress all living things. It was isolated from the world. A dignified voice appeared in the primal chaos palace, containing an unquestionable attitude. He was imprisoned. This was a cultivation palace created by an almighty. Its defensive power was astonishing. Su Yan had a great killing weapon protecting him, but if he wanted to break this palace, he would probably exhaust the weapon's power. He thought that something big must have happened outside. The sealing heaven region must have brought out a peerless trump card to suppress all the major clans. Otherwise, the Sky Bamboo clan wouldn't treat him like this. Could it be a trump card to resist the taboo? The 4 great ancestors watched Su Yan. One of them said coldly, "Do you think the taboo existence he's carrying is still alive? 9 bamboo leaves are enough for our clan to give birth to 9 proud sons of heaven. We can't let Su Yan take it away. I think we should put this matter on hold for now. Maybe he'll think it through and take the initiative to hand it over." Su Yan sat cross-legged in the almighty palace. It was difficult for him to sense the passage of time. the Han family's 81 array platforms. However, even though this set of killing weapons was damaged, once used, it was enough to trap and kill any enemy below the almighty level. Then, Su Yan's consciousness sank into the dragon totem. He found that it had changed. It was somewhat blurry and unclear, but it was more terrifying and mysterious. This gave Su Yan some confidence. I hope it's not too bad. At present, the higher-ups of the Sky Bamboo clan were discussing intensely. How should they deal with Su Yan? This was extremely important to the Sky Bamboo clan. 9 bamboo leaves. Yes, this item originally belonged to our clan. We're just taking it away. I believe that even if the taboo existence comes, they won't say anything. However, most of them smiled wryly. The sealing heaven region's miserable state was still vivid in their minds. They didn't dare to act rashly. This matter had been discussed for several days and nights without a conclusion. But now, someone barged into the meeting hall and said, "Elders, the latest news is that the sealing heaven region has declared that they won't let Su Yan live in this world. If anyone dares to take him in, they'll bring their entire clan to kill them." The elders in the meeting hall were completely out of control. The sealing heaven region had actually declared war. This was a serious problem. Could it be that the clan's taboo existence had awakened and was even starting to take charge of the situation? Boom! Su Yan, who was sitting cross-legged in the middle, suddenly opened his eyes. Bamboo Moon was very anxious. Her forehead was dripping with sweat. She hadn't expected things to change so quickly. If she didn't leave now, it would be too late. When she saw Su Yan grinning, Bamboo Moon glared at him and said sternly, "Why aren't you leaving? What are you standing there for?" Su Yan hurriedly got up, hugged Bamboo Moon's soft waist, and burrowed into the ground. Baidu Search 81 Chinese Network. No advertising message. Chapter 1024. What are you doing? Let go of me. Bamboo Moon was startled. Her heart seemed to be beating wildly. Her expression was a little flustered, and her cheeks flushed red. Her jade-like hands hammered Su Yan's shoulders. She had not expected Su Yan to make such a bold move. She was so frightened that her mind was in a mess. Su Yan, had already entered the ground. He smiled and said, "You took such a big risk to save me. Leave the rest to me." Bamboo Moon had used the 5-colored war flag to forcefully open the Chaos Palace. Although she had used a treasure to isolate the energy fluctuations, the ancestors of the Sky Bamboo lineage would definitely be able to see the changes here. If he allowed Bamboo Moon to take him away, they would definitely be blocked on the way. However, Su Yan was different. He was proficient in the geography chapter of the Mystical Gate lineage. His understanding and mastery of the geography were much better than those of the Han family. He was able to use the power of the underground dragon vein to cross mountains and rivers and conceal his aura. "Put me down quickly." Bamboo Moon's face was red. She was a peerless beauty. She was graceful and noble, beautiful and generous. But now she was very shy. "Don't move. We have to rush out as soon as possible." Su Yan focused on observing the direction of the earth vein chi. At the same time, he opened his eye of the universe to observe the changes in the universe. This also caused Su Yan's movements to be too frightening. Step by step, he crossed the vast rivers and mountains. His shrinking earth into an inch had reached the large success stage. With the help of the earth vein chi, he believed that even a half-almighty would not be able to catch up in a short time. "Charge!" Su Yan roared. His great Tao divine power was fully released. His speed was faster than lightning. He reached the end of the earth vein chi in an instant. Seeing Su Yan's solemn expression, Bamboo Moon also quieted down. However, her posture made her shy. She was carried on Su Yan's shoulder. This shyness made Bamboo Moon look bright and dignified. His speed was extremely fast. Soon, they were far away from the depths of the Sky Bamboo lineage's ancestral land. On the way here, Su Yan had already memorized the route. With the help of the Eye of the Universe, he followed the route. He did not dare to use any treasures along the way because he was worried that the energy fluctuations would be detected by the Sky Bamboo lineage's experts. "Bamboo Moon, we are almost there." Su's spirit. Su Yan was a little pale. But now, the huge space-time tunnel was beginning to close. It was about to seal off the ancestral land. Once the tunnel was sealed, it meant that the ancestral land had sealed itself. This was a major event that had rarely happened since the establishment of the sky bamboo lineage. Moreover, the energy fluctuations during the process were terrifying, as if two giant palms were closing together. "Seal the mountain gate," the two divine king guarding the gate shouted. They activated their imprints, intending to seal the sky bamboo lineage's mountain gate. This was an order from the ancestor of the Chaos Zone, so they did not dare to hesitate. "Who goes there?" While they were sealing the mountain, the two divine kings' faces sank. They had caught sight of a figure streaking through space at high speed. That figure was carrying a person and charging outside. "Not good. Isn't that our clan's disciple?" "Who are you? How dare you kidnap a disciple of my clan? How dare you? Stop right there." The two powerhouses were so angry that their faces almost turned green. What was going on? Could an audacious pervert have infiltrated the sky bamboo lineage and kidnapped their clan's peerless pearl, their clan's disciple? If he really succeeded, then the sky bamboo lineage's reputation would be thrown into the outerverse. The two great divine kings pounced over fiercely, and their great killing weapons also erupted. They were worried about harming Bamboo Moon, so they tried their best to suppress their energy and slashed at Su Yin, trying to block his path as much as possible. However, just as they were about to close in on Su Yin, a five-color divine light blossomed from between Su Yin's eyebrows. It contained a shocking, sacred aura. Not good. The two divine king were frightened and hurriedly retreated. At the same time, they were shocked. What was going on? Why would their clan's disciple help an outsider? Could it be that the ancestor had ordered them to seal the mountain gate to intercept Bamboo Moon? They even had the same thought. Were they going to elope? Ha ha ha! Su Yin rushed out while they were frantically avoiding the five-colored flag. He looked up and laughed. "Does this count as carrying a wife home?" "Shut your mouth." Bamboo Moon blushed and pinched Su Yin's ear. "This is bad. Hurry up and inform the ancestor. Hurry up and inform the ancestor." The two divine king were frightened. Their clan's disciple had been abducted. This was a great loss to the clan, and it was no less serious than when the Almighty had been severely injured. However, Su Yin and Bamboo Moon had already disappeared without a trace. Since they had escaped, Su Yin was no longer afraid. What he was afraid of was the sky bamboo lineage's foundation. Even if the sky bamboo lineage's experts were to chase after them, Su Yin was no longer afraid. "Let's hurry up and leave," Bamboo Moon urged. She couldn't be bothered to bicker with Su Yin. "Don't you think it's going too smoothly?" Su Yin's words immediately alerted Bamboo Moon. That's right. Everything was going too smoothly. From the moment they escaped until now, not a single sky bamboo expert had discovered them. Even the clan's Almighty was silent. Could it be that the clan had tacitly allowed her and Su Yin to escape? However, just as this thought surfaced in her mind, Bamboo Moon's face turned red. Why would she have such a thought? Su Yin had never let his guard down. In fact, ever since he escaped from the sky bamboo lineage's ancestral land, his vigilance had been raised infinitely. However, he still had to cross over and run as far as he could. It would be best if he could get out of the sky bamboo lineage's ancestral land's range. Su Yin's divine power burned to the limit. Su Yin was so tired that he was about to vomit blood. He had never used so much strength to escape. However, as he was crossing over, Su Yin's expression darkened slightly. Something was wrong with the world, Buzz. His pupils turned golden, and divine light shot out from within. The light was so resplendent that it split the sky. Su Yin could vaguely sense that at the end of the earth, there were majestic divine furnaces burning. They were emitting a vast source of essence blood. Su Yin's expression was gloomy. At the end of the world ahead, the four figures sitting cross-legged in the primal chaos emerged. Even Zhu Yuanqing was staring at Su Yin and the others with a cold gaze. When he noticed the two of them, Zhu Yuanqing was about to explode in anger. "Bamboo Moon!" Zhu Yuanqing shouted angrily. "You have disappointed us. We never thought that you would really do this." Su Yin stopped and put Bamboo Moon down. Bamboo Moon's heart was beating fast, but her expression was cold. She looked at them and said, I brought Su Yin here. Big Brother also ordered us to gather at the Great Tao City. We are ready to depart now. Is there a problem? You are still so stubborn. What kind of existence is the taboo? How can it communicate with ants like you? Disbelief was written all over Zhu Yuanqing's face as he said, We deliberately leaked the location of Su Yan's imprisonment because we wanted to see if you would go there or not. I really didn't expect that you would actually go to rescue Su Yan. Hee hee, rescue. Su Yan sneered. Su Yan, what are you trying to say? Zhu Yuanqing's gloomy eyes looked at Su Yan. He didn't expect the relationship between him and Bamboo Moon to develop to this point. He made up his mind not to let them continue. Don't be so secretive now. Is there any meaning to it? Su Yan sneered. You let me out of your ancestral land smoothly. Even if I, Su Yan, fall now, it has nothing to do with your clan. The four figures sitting cross-legged in the chaos looked a little cold. They didn't expect Su Yan to guess their intentions. Yes, they deliberately let Su Yan go. In short, if he died outside, it would be difficult for the taboo to find out who did it. It would be fine as long as he didn't die in the ancestral land of the Tianzhu clan. Little friend, you can only leave safely if you leave behind the 9 bamboo leaves of our clan. A cold half-step almighty in the chaos sneered and said, Otherwise, don't blame us for not being polite to you. If I say that I really don't know where the bamboo leaves are, would you believe me? Su Yan asked. Ha ha ha, you can even say such things. I think you're crazy. Do you think we are blind? Zhu Yuanqing and the others laughed angrily. They clearly saw that Su Yan had the bamboo leaves. Bamboo Moon, do you see it? This is Su Yan. Zhu Yuanqing turned to Bamboo Moon and said coldly, You kindly brought him back to your clan to avoid disaster, but Su Yan took away the 9 leaves of our clan. Now you're playing dumb and saying that you don't know. Do you know how important these things are to our clan? Zhu Yuanqing. Su Yan pointed at him and scolded angrily. You were the one who invited me to the Sky Bamboo Branch. You were the one who told me to go to the Sky Bamboo Mountain. Don't you know why you gave me the 9 leaves? I think you can go back now and ask the Tao Immortal Bamboo why it gave me the 9 leaves. The 4 ancestors of the Tianzhu clan, sitting cross-legged in the chaos, looked uncertain. They really didn't know why Su Yan could obtain such a fortuitous encounter in the Tianzhu mountain. But now, they didn't want to know. They just wanted to take the 9 bamboo leaves. Su Yan, since you say you don't have the 9 bamboo leaves, fine. I will now use the mirror made of bamboo leaves to see if you have them or not. Zhu Yuanqing suddenly said, Su Yan, you are a man. If you don't have them, then so be it. If you don't, then so be it. If you really don't have them, then I will let you go now. Is that okay? But if you do, then hand them over now. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Why not? Su Yan coldly shouted. He also wanted to know where the bamboo leaves had gone. Had the dragon totem secretly eaten them? Bamboo Moon was anxious. She also saw it. If Zhu Yuanqing found it, it would be difficult to explain. But seeing Su Yan's attitude, Bamboo Moon believed him. But where did the 9 bamboo leaves go? Su Yan, you asked for it. Zhu Yuanqing smiled sinisterly. Even if Su Yan hid the bamboo leaves, he was confident that he could get them. Buzz. Zhu Yuanqing directly took out a grass mirror with a pure aura. Its light shone on Su Yan's body. The grass mirror emitted a very gentle light. This type of mirror was a sacred item passed down in the Tianzhu clan. It was woven from bamboo leaves and could evolve the Tao fruit contained in the leaves. But under the reflection of the mirror, not a single leaf floated out of Su Yan's body. Chapter 1025. Zhu Yuanqing's expression was ugly. He kept urging the mirror woven from bamboo strips to shine on Su Yan. However, no matter how hard he shone, there was no trace of the bamboo leaves in Su Yan's body. Those were 9 bamboo leaves. How could they disappear into thin air? Even if Su Yan had really absorbed and refined them, it was impossible for him to digest all 9 bamboo leaves in just a few days. The faces of the 4 great ancestors who were sitting cross-legged in the chaos collapsed. How could this be? How could there be nothing? Now that things had developed to this point, it was somewhat beyond their expectations. The bamboo leaves that fell from the giant bamboo were extremely special. Even a spatial treasure would find it difficult to seal them. However, there was nothing on Su Yan's body. Could it be that they were mistaken? Is this enough? Su Yan snorted. He did not know where the bamboo leaves were. Su Yan could not understand this. If there was really something, he would just give it to them. Zhu Yuanqing's expression was gloomy. His aura was somewhat gloomy. The 9 bamboo leaves were of great help to the sky bamboo lineage. He could not give up just like that. Bamboo Moon's slender hands clenched slightly. She walked forward and said lightly, "Great Elder, you must keep your word." "Shut up." Zhu Yuanqing was in a fit of anger. When he saw Bamboo Moon step forward, he was instantly enraged. He said, "Bamboo Moon, you are our clan's disciple. Are you worthy of this title? Do you know what the 9 bamboo leaves represent? They represent the glory of our clan, the 9 proud sons of heaven. You're a disciple of our clan, yet instead of retrieving the 9 bamboo leaves, you're actually helping an outsider. I think you've really lost your mind. What a good way to disappoint you." Bamboo Moon laughed self-deprecatingly. "But have you ever treated me as your clan's disciple? Let's not talk about the past. I was the one who brought Su Yan here. Today I must take him away. You are simply too presumptuous. Bamboo Moon, do you think your wings are strong enough to go against the clan? Have you forgotten the lesson from back then?" The patriarchs of the 4 major clans were furious, and a destructive aura was released from their bodies. Su Yan said indifferently, "Zhu Yuanqing, your own people don't have the ability to obtain it. 9 heavens favored once? Can you wake up from your dream? Don't forget that you invited me here. Now, you're the one who wants to kill me. I've seen many shameless people in this world, but you, Zhu Yuanqing, are really something. Su Yan, if you don't hand over the 9 bamboo leaves, no one can save you." After Zhu Yuanqing said those words, his aura began to skyrocket. His figure released a golden holy light that caused the mountains and seas to tremble and the sun and moon to lose their light. This area was completely suppressed by him. "Looks like I won't be able to leave peacefully today." Su Yan stood tall and straight. His long black hair draped over his shoulders. His eyes were as sharp as lightning as he asked them indifferently, "I'm afraid you guys didn't get the permission of your clans to come out and ambush me. Ridiculous. Do we need to go through a meeting of our clan to deal with you? Su Yan, you think too highly of yourself." Zhu Yuanqing laughed angrily. "In my eyes, you're nothing. I've shown you some colors, and you're still so lawless. At that time in the great Dao City, the experts of your clan targeted me. In the end, my big brother took away the 5-colored war flag." Su Yan's tone was gentle as he said, "Later on, the experts of your clan came again, hoping that they would have a drop of blood to summon back the 5-colored war flag. They hoped that the Han family's foundation would be able to suppress my big brother." As Su Yan spoke, the faces of the old ancestors sitting cross-legged in the 4 great primal chaos grew ugly. This brat kept bringing up the taboo for no reason and even addressed them as Big Brother. This gave him a headache. Moreover, Su Yan spoke so calmly that they felt that something big was about to happen. "What are you trying to say?" Zhu Yuanqing's face twitched. He asked with a dark expression, "Su Yan, no matter how you quibble today, you must hand over the 9 bamboo leaves to me. This is the supreme treasure of my clan. It must not fall into your hands." "What a pity." Su Yan ignored them and continued, "The experts of your clan were obliterated by my big brother. The spiritual imprint of the 5-colored war flag was also shattered. The sky bamboo expert of your clan came. My big brother didn't make things difficult for the sky bamboo expert for the sake of Bamboo Moon." Su Yan said coldly, "I see that your clans have no intention of pursuing the matter. This matter should be settled. Unfortunately, you're targeting me again. Haha, you even set up an ambush to kill me. If you 5 old things die here today, what do you think the sky bamboo expert will do?" The 4 old ancestors of the sky bamboo lineage looked gloomy. They had indeed not discussed it with the others and had acted on their own initiative. The 9 leaves were too important to their clan. Of course, what they wanted to know the most was why Su Yan had attracted the protection of the giant bamboo. This was the secret they wanted to know the most. Su Yan, one of the old ancestors of the sky bamboo lineage, said coldly, "Even if we kill you, we will kill ourselves to atone for our sins." Are you satisfied with this answer? Then why are you still talking? Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His long hair danced in the wind, and a monstrous, ferocious aura rippled throughout the sky, scattering the clouds in all directions. Just do it. Su Yan will take it. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. He pointed at them and shouted, "Let's see who will die." The sound of thunder exploded just like that. It contained a cold, murderous intent that swept through the entire place. Zhu Yuanqing and the other 4 half-step almighties had ugly expressions. They even had a kind of fear in their hearts. If their guess was wrong, and Su Yin really had a taboo foundation, they would not be able to live. But now that things had come to this, they had no way out. If a total of 5 half-almighties went berserk, an extremely oppressive aura would sweep across millions of miles. It was as if the 4 lions of the universe were awakening, and the chaotic force would fill the sky like an ocean. The entire space-time was submerged and gloomy. Many living beings and cultivators nearby were horrified. They saw the 5 half-step almighties suddenly erupt. They were faintly discernible in the chaos and emitted a murderous intent that made their bodies turn cold. Their hearts were filled with fear. What had happened? This was the ancestral land of the sky bamboo lineage. Who was causing trouble here? Su Yin, when we came, I said that I would escort you out. Bamboo Moon walked forward step by step. She had regained her supreme demeanor as the leader of a generation in Hokuto. She said coldly to the 5 family experts, "Su Yin, step back. Leave this to me." Bamboo Moon, are you trying to rebel? Zhu Yuanqing and the others were furious. Was Bamboo Moon going to go against the family just to help Su Yin? You're overthinking it. I'm helping you by not letting Su Yin do it. Bamboo Moon said coldly. Also, you acted without permission and ignored the Sky Bamboo Patriarch. You've committed a great crime of disrespect. As the family's appointed disciple, I have the right to suppress you. The 4 patriarchs' faces turned purple. Indeed, they had to discuss this matter with the Sky Bamboo Patriarch. After all, the Sky Bamboo Patriarch was the one who said that there was no need to pursue the matter with Su Xianren. However, the Sky Bamboo Patriarch was in seclusion, and they couldn't inform him. Su Yin was also in a hurry to leave. They couldn't just watch Su Yin leave. Suppress us. Zhu Yuanqing laughed angrily. Bamboo Moon, you're overthinking it. Even if you're the Divine King, you're not qualified to deal with us. You ingrate. Did the family nurture you to go against the patriarchs? You're wrong. The family didn't nurture me much. Many years ago, I was forced out of the family by you. Bamboo Moon's aura was getting more and more shocking. The sun, moon, and stars in the sky were about to fall. She was like a goddess of war who suppressed the sea of stars. She said coldly, "If you continue to be stubborn, don't blame me. Be *starred, suppress her, and bring her back to the family. Even if the Sky Bamboo Patriarch is to blame, I'll take the risk to deal with you." The 4 patriarchs took the lead. Huge palms that covered the sky and shrouded in the blurry light of order emerged from the chaos. They used the combat strength of a half-step mighty figure right from the start. They wanted to trap Bamboo Moon. However, the result shocked the 4 patriarchs. Dazzling starlight fell from the sky, and grand sutra chanting could be heard. At this moment, Bamboo Moon seemed to have turned into the master of the starry sky and the goddess of the Moon Palace. As the Big Dipper scripture circulated, the ancient sea of stars in the universe sank and covered Bamboo Moon's body. It made her look peerless. Big Dipper starry sky art. The 4 patriarchs were experienced and knowledgeable. They were shocked. This was Hokuto's secret art. Only the sect masters of each generation were qualified to cultivate this forbidden secret art. Once this secret art was used, the power of the starry sky would be swallowed, and the user would be able to unleash the terrifying power of the forbidden secret art. Bamboo Moon, why do you have to do this? Su Yan's eyes were red. Once the forbidden secret art was used, it would be a serious threat to the user. They could easily lose their lives. However, Bamboo Moon didn't want to see Su Yin and the experts of the Sky Bamboo lineage fight. If they really went crazy, the Sky Bamboo lineage would definitely hunt down Su Yin. Bamboo Moon was the Sky Bamboo lineage's appointed disciple. What could she do? What could she do if she was caught in the middle? This is crazy. Zhu Yuanqing was furious. If the appointed disciple was crippled because of this, they wouldn't be able to absolve themselves from blame. However, Bamboo Moon's character was still so unyielding. The Big Dipper scripture erupted to the extreme. The vast power of the starry sea penetrated Bamboo Moon's body, causing her aura to soar infinitely. She approached the domain of the Divine King and instantly soared to an extremely shocking level. Quick! The four large hands shot out from the chaos, wanting to forcibly suppress Bamboo Moon and seal her. However, they were wrong. Bamboo Moon wasn't just relying on the Big Dipper scripture. When Bamboo Moon took out the silent five-colored war flag, the moment this top-notch Great Path sacred weapon was resurrected, the vast divine power of the Great Path erupted in an earth-shattering manner. The five-colored war flag shone dazzlingly. Layers of five-colored divine light flowed out of it, crushing the chaos and creating a huge explosion. Oh no! Zhu Yuanqing felt a headache coming on. Bamboo Moon had actually gained the recognition of the five-colored war flag. Under her control, the five-colored war flag shone and danced in the wind, emitting an unparalleled aura. This supreme treasure was too frightening. It was the top-notch Great Path sacred weapon of the Tianzhu lineage. Under the control of Bamboo Moon in her current state, it shot out 5 beams of divine light, causing the 5 great ancestors to tremble. Cracks appeared on their 5 arms. Fresh blood splattered everywhere and dyed the void red. An ancestor furiously shouted, "Zhu Yue, you traitor, you're still the same as before. If we don't suppress you, where will our dignity go?" The 5 half-step almighties unleashed their full strength. One of them even took out a Great Path sacred weapon. Since they were here, they must have come prepared. This was a full 5 half-step almighties working together to activate a Great Path sacred weapon. The 5-color divine light that filled the sky was cut apart. A large halberd was about to slash over and collide with the 5-colored war flag. Bamboo Moon, stop. You can last a few rounds. I admit that you are very strong, but you can't stop the 5 great ancestors. Zhu Yuanqing angrily rebuked. If you continue to be stubborn, you will be the one hurting yourself. After all, the divine power needed to activate the 5-colored war flag was too vast. Even though Bamboo Moon had used a forbidden technique and obtained the power of the starry sky, her delicate body was faintly trembling in the face of the 5-colored war flags devouring during the awakening process. If you want to kill Su Yin, you will have to step over my dead body first. Bamboo Moon's eyes were full of determination and determination. The 5-colored war flag was awakening again, and it was even stronger than before. The supreme divine power was revived, and it was about to erupt with the unparalleled power of a top-notch Great Path sacred weapon. If Bamboo Moon's life is harmed because of this, even if I, Su Yin, die here today, I will kill all of you. Su Yin's black hair danced wildly, and his eyes emitted a crazy, murderous aura. The clothes on his arms exploded, and the dragon totem was about to awaken. Chapter 1026. The 5 old ancestors of the Sky Bamboo lineage had gloomy expressions. They never thought that Bamboo Moon would say such a thing. Given her personality, if she really did that, she might very well die. After all, the longer the forbidden secret technique was used, the greater the damage to the human body would be. If this continued, Bamboo Moon would be crippled even if she didn't die. Bamboo Moon was a disciple personally appointed by Sky Bamboo Almighty. If something really happened to Bamboo Moon, and it was because of such a thing, they wouldn't be able to account for it. In fact, they would be going against the will of the Sky Bamboo Almighty. The old ancestors of the Sky Bamboo lineage had ugly expressions. They never thought that their relationship would be so deep. Although Su Yin had taken away the good fortune of their ancestral land, it was all because of this. However, This was all because of Zhu Yuanqing. If he had not been allowed to go to Sky Bamboo Mountain, these ridiculous things would not have happened. However, Su Yan's shocking words reverberated in the oppressive atmosphere. This caused the few old ancestors to be furious. How could they continue to watch a junior threaten them in such a blatant manner? The five half-step Almighties were enraged. Their terrifying auras filled the air. The Almighty's sacred weapon they used together became even more powerful. This halberd could easily split the starry sky and split open a space-time rift. Don't treat my words as empty words. I, Su Yan, am a man of my words. Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind. He pointed at them and roared. Even without the taboo, my clan still is Almighty's. Do you think I'm afraid of your Sky Bamboo lineage? Zhu Yuanqing's expression was unsettled. This was also one of the reasons why they had set up the burial ground. If Su Yan died in the Sky Bamboo lineage, the burial realm wouldn't let the matter rest. The clan still had Almighties who weren't inferior to the Sky Bamboo Almighty. The consequences of angering an Almighty were too severe. Su Yan, stop talking. Unless I'm dead, you can't do anything. Bamboo Moon's figure faintly exuded an aura of destruction. The starry skies within her collapsed, evolving into the destructive power of the chaotic star sea. This was the technique that Big Brother Prehistoric had imparted to her. Once she had reached this stage, the power of the forbidden secret technique would soar. At that time, she was confident that she would be able to unleash the strongest attack of the five-colored battle flag. Bamboo Moon. Su Yan's eyes were red as he let out a heart-wrenching roar. His entire body was seething with murderous intent, and he really couldn't control himself from rushing forward. However, Bamboo Moon's temperament was staunch and unyielding. She stood at the very front. The five-color banner was like an ancient god that had been resurrected. As it was spat out, the vast region trembled. That was the light of order that was enough to reverse a corner of the universe was burning. It was enough to overturn and destroy the world. This was a top-tier Great Tao Saint weapon. The five-color battle flag was the supreme treasure of the Sky Bamboo lineage. Naturally, there was a reason why it was so tyrannical. Now that it was under Bamboo Moon's control, the divine might it emitted was enough to make all living beings in the universe tremble. Even the Sky Bamboo lineage's ancestors who were protected by Great Tao Saint weapons were frightened. Once such a collision occurred, the problem would be serious. They might not die, but Bamboo Moon's situation was uncertain. Once she unleashed the strongest attack of the five-colored battle flag, it was equivalent to using her life force to activate the treasure's power. She might very well die. However, they were still hesitating and didn't want to stop. However, it was because of their hesitation that Bamboo Moon felt disappointed. If the family really valued her, they would have stopped long ago. Some things could be discussed properly. There was no need to fight to this extent. After all, Su Yan was not wrong. Back then, it was Zhu Yuanqing who invited Su Yan to the tribe. It was also he who nodded and allowed Su Yan to go to Sky Bamboo Mountain. However, because of the rise of the sealed heaven region, Zhu Yuanqing and the others changed their attitude. It was a little ridiculous. You'll never change your rebellious nature. The ancestors were furious because the five-color battle flag was finally beginning to cross over to them. It was wrapped in a divine might that could destroy the world and was about to unleash its strongest attack. When the ancestors decided to unleash their Great Tao Saint weapons to take the attack head-on, why do you have to do this? A sigh could be heard. It affected one's mind. This was a shocking influence. The sudden appearance of an expert's mastery of the Great Tao was truly at the pinnacle. His influence was far-reaching, and it caused the killing in the field to dissipate greatly. Family head, Zhu Yuanqing and the others had solemn expressions. A shadow walked over from a distant world. They couldn't see his movements at all. He was like a ghost in the night as he came to this area. Su Yan's eyes suddenly narrowed as he looked at the black-robed man. He didn't expect the family head of the Sky Bamboo branch to be a peak half-step almighty existence. He wasn't strong all the time. He was in the prime of his life, and his vitality was unparalleled. Su Yin felt that this was a powerful existence that wasn't inferior to Xiaoho. He was also the family head of the Sky Bamboo branch. I knew it was you. Bamboo Moon's eyes flashed with a trace of bone-chilling coldness. She stared at him and sneered. If it weren't for your instructions, they wouldn't have dared to go against the will of the Sky Bamboo Patriarch so openly to stop Su Yin. It seems like my guess was right. The family head of the Sky Ancestor branch was a peak half-step almighty. His status and identity weren't inferior to the almighty patriarch of the tribe. Bamboo Moon, your thoughts are too extreme. The family head of the Sky Bamboo Patriarch had a majestic figure. He was born with the dignity of a superior. He said calmly, "The tribe has treated you well. How can you make an enemy out of the tribe and disrespect the patriarch? Isn't this what you want? I'm now a disciple of the tribe. Wouldn't it be better to kill me along the way?" Bamboo Moon's cold voice made Zhu Yuanqing's expression change. He reprimanded, "What nonsense are you talking about? The family head is here. Bamboo Moon, don't make a mistake. It seems like I'm not qualified to be the family head." The family head of the Sky Bamboo Patriarch's tone was calm. It was like a black ocean. It was silent, but it gave people a suffocating feeling. "Are you qualified? You haven't forgotten what you did for your son back then, have you?" Bamboo Moon's sarcastic voice made the patriarchs of the Sky Bamboo clan a little suspicious. Zhu Yuanqing pretended to be confused and reprimanded. "I see that you're becoming more and more lawless. You even dare to slander the family head. Bamboo Moon, you're really audacious. Could it be that he was the one who chased Bamboo Moon out back then?" Su Yin clenched his fists. Back then, the Han family had secretly used underhanded means to force Bamboo Moon out of the tribe because of Xiao Ming. Su Yin felt that the possibility was very high. After all, he was the family head of the Sky Bamboo clan. He was the most powerful person in the clan. His son should be the young supreme of the clan. Could it be that he had received benefits from the Han family back then? Su Yan's eyes were somewhat cold. Bamboo Moon's experience back then was truly pitiful. She was chased out of the tribe all by herself. If she hadn't met the old family head, it would have been hard to say whether she was dead or alive. Bamboo Moon, there are some things that you shouldn't make wild guesses about before you figure them out. The family head of the Sky Bamboo clan was calm and composed. He placed his hands behind his back and looked like a supreme god in the night sky. He glanced at Su Yin and said, "Why do you have to make such a fuss? Are you going to watch as Bamboo Moon dies in front of you before you're willing to stop? Speak clearly. Don't be so eccentric." Su Yin said coldly, "You're the family head of a great clan. Don't stab me in the back and use underhanded methods." The family head of the Sky Bamboo clan shook his head slightly and said indifferently, "Brat, since you've taken the item, hand it over. Don't do such useless things. The forbidden area of my clan, Sky Bamboo Mountain, is the origin of my clan. It's paramount to my clan. The fortunes inside naturally can't be divulged to outsiders. No matter the reason, they can't be leaked. You've been here long enough. You should know the cause and effect. Don't always try to play dirty." Su Yin said coldly, "Would anyone believe me? Bamboo Moon, you wouldn't believe me either, right?" The family head of the Sky Bamboo clan sneered. "Although my clan's sacred artifact couldn't see through the 9 leaves, I'm guessing that they're treasures left behind by a taboo. They're hiding from my clan's sacred artifacts detection. Su Yin, you're really ruthless at such a young age. You're willing to sacrifice Bamboo Moon's life for 9 bamboo leaves." "Enough," Su Yin shouted coldly. "Don't try to sow discord here. Do you think that I care about your clan's treasures? You even said that your clan's origin is supreme. Don't you find it laughable? You should have asked the giant bamboo for its intentions. What answer did it give you? Why don't you dare to say it?" The Sky Bamboo clan's ancestors had gloomy expressions. According to their clan's almighty's conclusion, the giant bamboo was protecting Su Yin. At the same time, the ancestral land's paramount status was telling them that Su Yin couldn't be harmed. "No matter what, my clan's treasures can't be divulged to outsiders. I'm the clan master." The Sky Bamboo clan master's tone was unyielding. His aura was faintly leaking as he coldly said, "Do you think I'll believe you just because you say no? Very well. I, Su Yin, swear to the heavens that if I know where the bamboo leaves are, I'll die a horrible death. Su Yin angrily said, How about this, Sky Bamboo Clan Master? What else do you want? If you have something to say it quickly. No, I don't believe you. I won't believe you even if you swear. The Sky Bamboo Clan Master shook his head and said, You want to leave? Impossible. Clan Master, I can think of compromise. Zhu Yuanqing suddenly said, Su Yin, we all saw clearly that you took the bamboo leaves. Since you keep quibbling and don't want to hand them over, how about this? You leave the immortal path material to me as payment for your debt. If you think it through one day, you can come to my clan to trade for the 9 bamboo leaves. This will be good for both you and me. Ha ha! Su Yin looked up to the sky and laughed angrily. His eyes were filled with bone-chilling coldness. These people didn't just want the 9 bamboo leaves. They also wanted to take the immortal Tao material from him. He had seen many shameless people, but even a majestic peak clan was doing this. This made Su Yin furious. Are you refusing? The Sky Bamboo Clan Master shook his head and was a little disappointed. He then looked at Bamboo Moon and said, Do you still want to continue? Even if I die, I won't give you the immortal Tao material. Stop dreaming. Bamboo Moon's heart was also boiling with anger. She believed in Su Yin. The Sky Bamboo Clan Master wanted to destroy their trust with just a few words. He was thinking too much. Moreover, Bamboo Moon really wanted to tell them that Su Yin had even given her a large amount of cosmic liquid for cultivation. He didn't care about the 9 bamboo leaves. Ha 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 ha! The Sky Bamboo Clan Master laughed. Since that's the case, I won't care about this matter anymore. My clan's matter has been settled. I won't care about what happens next. Old thing, you brought the people from the sealed heaven region here. Su Yin suddenly clenched his fists. He had already sensed an energy fluctuation. This was a kind of aura that sealed the sky and the earth. It appeared from afar and spread over here. The movement was getting bigger and bigger. Finally, it enveloped the entire region. Then, one after another, figures with cold auras stepped out of the void. There were also people who stared at Bamboo Moon and smiled coldly. This is the woman that my clan's Xiao Ming has taken a fancy to. I don't think she's anything special. What's the use of marrying her? There are so many beauties in the world. With my clan's Xiao Ming's potential, he can have as many as he wants. Just as he finished speaking, a dozen resplendent figures completely appeared. The entire region was suppressed by them. All the auras started to surge towards Su Yin. Many thanks to the Sky Bamboo Clan Master. I can finally get rid of this sore point of mine. Someone's voice was malevolent, like a demon from hell. Similarly, the eyes of the person who spoke were red. Because of Su Yin, the sealed heaven region had suffered a great loss. Only they knew. Now that they saw Su Yin, their hearts and lungs trembled. It was like cutting off their flesh. Even if they killed Su Yin, it wouldn't be enough to quell their anger. Chapter 10:27. The entire region was sealed off. Bright runes covered every major area, overflowing with divine splendor. It was filled with a supreme aura that sealed the heavens and the earth. This time, more than a dozen experts from the sealed heaven region had come. The weakest was the divine king, and the strongest was a peak half-step almighty. There was even the aura of a great Tao saint weapon emerging. What a terrifying lineup. Are they experts from the sealed heaven region? This was the territory of the Sky Bamboo lineage. When the 5-colored war flag was revived and the Sky Bamboo lineage's ancestral land was about to be sealed, the entire group was alarmed. Now, groups of experts were rushing out, and their expressions changed. The matter of the sealed heaven region had only happened a few days ago. No one expected them to appear in the Sky Bamboo lineage's territory on such a large scale. Su Yin, it won't be enough even if you die 10,000 times. A mournful voice echoed. The divine king wanted to pull out Su Yan's tendons and skin him alive. In a short time, he thought of many cruel tortures to torture Su Yin. It was all because of him that their group was almost wiped out from the world. I think I heard Su Yin. Heavens, could that person be Su Yin, Su Xianren? The deities from the sky bamboo lineage's ancestral land lost their composure. How could they not know of Su Xianren's great name? Zhu Yongjia and the others were completely petrified. The mysterious man who had obtained the 9 bamboo leaves from the ancestral land was actually Su Yan. This was someone they had never imagined. In particular, the 6 beauties who had previously entertained Su Yan were flabbergasted. They had never imagined that the young expert they had entertained in the forest garden was the legendary figure of a generation, Su Xianren. Everything had gone beyond their expectations. The entire region was in an uproar, and some unrelated people were trembling in fear. The taboo matter was still causing a great commotion, but the source of this matter, Su Xianren, had actually been found by the experts of the sealed heaven region. Can you be any more shameless? Bamboo Moon looked at the Tianzhu clan master. She hadn't expected that the Tianzhu clan would directly notify the people of the sealed sky region. In fact, according to the original plan, they should take back the 9 bamboo leaves and return to the tribe, ignoring the rest of the matter. Unexpectedly, Su Yin was unwilling to hand them over, so they could only hand him over to the sealed heaven region. There was a taboo in the sealed heaven region. If they could really kill Su Yin, the heavenly bamboos branch and the sealed heaven region would have a close relationship, which would be of great help in the future calamity. Everything is for the sake of our race. You will understand in the future. The Sky Bamboo clan master's voice was calm. The great calamity was coming, and what should be given up should be given up. Moreover, all he did was report Su Yan's whereabouts. What did that count for? More than a dozen experts from the realm of sealed heaven approached with monstrous killing intent. The entire great region was surging with bloody radiance, as if a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood had been born. The scene was terrifying, and the oppressive aura of a violent storm seeped out. Su Yin, you little evil creature, let's see where you can run to. More than a dozen experts from the sealed heaven region charged out, each of them wearing a cold expression and cruel smiles. It was the first time they had seen Su Yan's true appearance, and the killing intent in their hearts burned even more fiercely. They had never imagined that the current tragic situation of the sealed heaven region was because of this insignificant character. Did I say I was going to run? Su Yan stood between heaven and earth, his long black hair draped over his shoulders. His divine eyes were like lightning as he stared at these people and sneered. Why are only you here? Aren't there many almighty experts in the sealed heaven region? Why haven't I seen any almighty experts? Shut up. A god king from the sealed heaven domain roared furiously, his eyes turning red. A total of 5 almighty experts had fallen in the sealed heaven region. 4 of them had been killed by the prehistoric Big Brother, and the last one, who had been seriously injured, had died tragically in the ancestral land on the day of the catastrophe. The bloody loss was equivalent to destroying the accumulation of a universe era of the sealed heaven region's clans. Even the ancestral land of the sealed heaven region had been severely damaged, which was a loss that was difficult to make up for. In short, the foundation of the sealed heaven region had declined greatly. Their hearts were full of pain, and every day that passed was like a piece of flesh being cut off from their bodies. When they learned of Su Yan's whereabouts, they thought they had misheard. They wanted to get rid of Su Yan so much that they didn't expect that things would go so smoothly, and that Su Yan will be trapped here. I'm afraid that you won't be enough to kill me. Su Yan's cold reply caused the atmosphere in the hall to suddenly turn cold. All the experts from the sealed heaven region had a kind of fear in their hearts because they didn't know what kind of foundation the prehistoric Big Brother had left for him. In other words, they didn't know if the prehistoric Big Brother would appear again. Ha ha ha! Seeing their expressions, Su Yan laughed and said, "Get lost if you're afraid. Don't provoke me. Little bastard, give me your life." A divine king couldn't sit still anymore and rushed over in an instant. His whole body released his aura, and the divine king's energy tore through the sky. He erupted with his strongest power and attacked. However, facing this person, Su Yan's aura was even more domineering. His whole body shook, and a kind of godly aura pierced through the heavens. "Get lost. Su Yin roared, and in an instant, a godly demon stood between heaven and earth. His flesh and blood seemed to have turned into a chaotic, godly demon and filled the domain of the godly demon king. This was the energy of the human-shaped puppet. It was at the pinnacle of perfection. Su Yan's palm struck out, smashing the arm of the God King expert that was pouncing towards him. This palm strike landed heavily on the God King expert's chest. Ah! The divine king of the sealed heaven region screamed miserably. His chest was shattered, and blood splattered everywhere. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. The Uncanny Craftsmanship series puppet is really powerful. It can actually let a small god have such a strong battle strength. If this thing really falls into the hands of Qiu Ming, it will definitely be able to erupt with the strongest battle strength. The eyes of the experts from the sealed heaven region turned red. The aura of more than a dozen experts from the tribes rose sharply. They didn't want to delay, and they didn't want to waste time. They just wanted to quickly suppress Su Yin and bring him back to the sealed heaven region. A war is about to break out. The whole place was in an uproar, and there were already many onlookers. Everyone saw clearly that Su Xianren was here, and now he was surrounded by the experts of the sealed heaven region. Ha ha, Su Yan, let's see how you die. Zhu Yongjiao laughed in his heart. You've been arrogant for so long, relying on the taboo to support you. You're finally going to be punished. What kind of lineup was this? More than a dozen experts rushed over at the same time. That supreme pressure filled the whole place, and they sealed off the heaven and earth, cutting off all of Su Yan's escape routes. Boom! One after another, resplendent energy rays wreaked havoc and fell from the sky. The space-time collapsed in a blur and turned into nothingness. The gods lost their composure. In order to kill Su Yin, they actually sent out such a powerful lineup. The sealed heaven region was crazy enough, and it was enough to see their confidence. They didn't fear the taboo. Look, no one thought that Su Yin would be suppressed so easily. Sure enough, someone caught hold of him. Extremely resplendent divine splendor was released, and it spread rapidly. Soon, it propped up this blurry world pattern. Su Yin took out a bee-skin drawing scroll with lightning speed. The moment this item was unfurled, the aura of the Almighty was vast, and the symbols of order in the sky burned, outlining a condensed universe with the aura of reversing the universe. The decree of the Almighty. The crowd was horrified. This was a decree carved with great effort by the Almighty. It was extremely precious, and ordinary people couldn't take it out at all. It would fetch a sky-high price in an auction. After all, this was something that the Almighty had spent great effort to refine, and it hid a great divine ability. Usually, the value of this kind of material was ridiculously high. No one thought that Su Yin would be so decisive. The decree of the Almighty filled the sky with millions of rays of light, and the symbols of order in the sky were gushing out. It quickly turned into a sword of slaughter and swept across the whole place. Even if the race had almighty holy weapons, they still couldn't suppress the power of the decree. The whole area boiled up, and a huge explosion occurred. Earth and rocks were rolling in the sky, accompanied by the blooming of blood. A terrifying, killing power swept through the whole place like a tide. Kill! Su Yin carried the decree of the Almighty and rushed through the shattered battlefield at lightning speed. He crossed over to the enemy in an instant. The decree in his hand attacked forward, as if it was pulling the grand world forward. The divine king was in despair. Their divine king's body was beginning to break apart at close range. One by one, the experts exploded and died. The half-almighties were trembling. Someone shouted, "It's just a decree of the Almighty. It's nothing. Let's work together to suppress the decree of the Almighty." There were a total of 5 half-almighties from the sealed heaven region. One after another, their battle strength soared to the extreme. They joined forces to take out their holy weapons and press down fiercely. This grand and peerless decree of the Almighty was instantly suppressed by the energy ripples. They roared one after another and used all their strength to suppress the decree of the Almighty. However, just as this stalemate was formed, A colorful flag descended from the sky, emitting a heavenly divine aura. The power of the 5 major fields vaguely appeared, as if 5 worlds had been opened. One after another, they suppressed the 5 half-almighties. Suyin, leave quickly. Leave now. Bamboo Moon's delicate body trembled slightly. She couldn't hold on much longer after using the holy weapons of the Almighty. You still want to leave now? Haha. Suyin, I think this is all you've got. You can't run away. The 5 half-almighties, who were suppressed to the point of unbearable pain, laughed coldly. Their behavior made Bamboo Moon's expression change. They weren't the only experts from the sealed heaven region. Sure enough, Bamboo Moon was in despair the next moment. At the end of the horizon, a magnificent figure appeared as if he had crossed over from the void. He had the sky above his head and the wilderness beneath his feet. He was extremely terrifying. His aura engulfed the entire region, and his blood essence was as deep as the sea, suppressing all living beings. Almighty Expert. A huge earthquake broke out in the boundless mountains and rivers. The aura of the Almighty Expert leaked out and spread throughout the land, causing a commotion among the major races. They didn't even expect that the Almighty Expert would make a move as soon as he appeared. Boom! A huge, resplendent hand came over, covering the sky and covering the sun. It was huge and heavy, and the energy waves that flowed out during the process shocked even the divine kings. They only felt that their corporeal bodies were about to collapse. This was an Almighty Expert. Who would have thought that he would target 2 juniors the moment he appeared? His target wasn't Suyin, but Bamboo Moon. This made the experts of the heavenly bamboo bloodline terrified. The Almighty Expert of this race wanted to suppress their race's disciples. Since you're the woman that my race's Qiuming values, I think you should return to the race with me first. The Almighty Expert's cold voice appeared. His words revealed a strong sense of confidence. Even Bamboo Moon, who was protected by the 5-colored war flag, trembled. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. She felt that she would die in the next moment. She was suffocating to death. The 5-colored war banner, floating above her head, dimmed. This was the divine might of a mighty being that suppressed all matter. Even if it was a top-notch Great Tao sacred weapon, in Zhu Yu's current state, she really couldn't use it. But, just as Bamboo Moon was in despair, a slightly thin figure slowly appeared in front of Bamboo Moon. Although his figure wasn't very tall or majestic, in Bamboo Moon's eyes, he was full of safety. He was here to shelter her from the wind and rain. Leave the rest to me. The latter turned around and smiled faintly. Then, he turned his head and looked forward. His expression was cold and crazy. Chapter 1028. Suyin, Bamboo Moon murmured as she looked at his back. She felt that he was a little tall. Although his aura was cold, it was warm to Bamboo Moon. It was so warm that she couldn't help but smile. This shocking scene caused the ancestors of the Sky Bamboo lineage who wanted to target Suyin to fall silent. Suyin really did not have the 9 bamboo leaves. Otherwise, given the current situation, he would have fled long ago, leaving Zhu Yu behind. But he did not do so. This made the ancestors of the clan smile bitterly. How dare you? As for the Sky Bamboo lineage's ancestral land, the chaotic zone suddenly shook as a terrifying aura gushed out. 2 mighty figures stood out. When the sealed heaven region attacked, the 2 mighty figures of the Sky Bamboo lineage had already woken up and were paying close attention. Their auras were powerful. It alarmed the entire ancestral land. However, the 2 mighty figures' faces were gloomy. One of them said, "The mighty figures of the sealed heaven region are really arrogant. Bamboo Moon is a newly conferred disciple of our clan. She has even gained the approval of the Sky Bamboo. She can be our clan's future seedling. They are indeed arrogant. They have just recovered from their wounds and have forgotten the pain. Do they really think that they can ignore the world, ignore the laws, and ignore our clan just because they have a taboo? Haha, let's work together to keep them in check. No matter how big a mistake our clan's disciple has made, it is not up to the mighty figures of the sealed heaven region to criticize us. If they want to behave atrociously in our clan's territory, they will have to think twice even if they were at their peak." Zhu Yangyan happened to hear the furious words of the mighty figure. He was surprised and happy. The mighty figures of the sky bamboo lineage were very confident and were about to make a move. This was the style of a great sect. Now that Bamboo Moon was in danger, the mighty figures of the clan should stand out. No matter how big a mistake Bamboo Moon had made, it was too much for the sealed heaven region to suppress Bamboo Moon in their territory. Wait, the other mighty figure frowned and said, "Something is wrong with this kid. Let's wait, Ant." The Almighty from the sealing heaven domain looked at Su Yin coldly. The eyes of the sealed heaven domain's expert were filled with disdain and anger towards the young man who had stepped forward. He already knew that the current miserable state of the sealed heaven domain was entirely because of Su Yin. The wrath of a powerful being was spreading, affecting the changes in the universe's space-time. Storms of order swept over and swept up Su Yan's messy long hair. They wanted to tear his body apart and crush him into ashes. "Almighty, you treat me like an ant." Su Yan's eyes were cold. Even in this situation where the world was about to be destroyed, his might was still shocking. He coldly shouted, "Similarly, there are also people who treat you as an ant and look down on you from above." Boom! A muffled explosion resounded as if the heavens were enraged. Howls could be heard from the top of the sky dome. This was a type of Tao sound, and at the same time, it was a sound of anger. The tragic state of the sealed heaven region was still vivid in his mind. 5 Almighties had died one after another. Such a heavy blow made this Almighty's eyes turn red. He couldn't control himself. Su Yin was bleeding their wounds. The Almighties treated Su Yin like an ant, and the prehistoric Big Brother also treated them like ants. If they weren't ants, the prehistoric Big Brother could have killed all the Almighties in the group with a single punch. "Ancestor, kill him quickly." The 5 half-step Almighties of the sealed heaven region couldn't stand it anymore. They screamed in a shrill voice. "Too much blood has been shed in the sealed heaven region. We must wash it with blood. Kill his ancestor. Little bastard, killing you is too easy for you." The sealed heaven region's expert roared in grief. The vast sky was dyed red as if doomsday had arrived. Blood rained down from the sky dome. This was a change in the universe's environment caused by the fury of the Almighties. They were really powerful. In fact, if it weren't for the great disturbance caused by the taboo, the Almighties would still be inviolable giants. Buzz! A huge palm was pressing down on Su Yin. It wanted to shatter all the bones in Su Yan's body and bring him back to the tribe to deal with him. Only then could it vent its anger. "You want to kill me? Let's see if you're qualified." Su Yan's body shone with divine light. His arm was also bright and translucent. A vague shadow appeared like a peerless true dragon. "Even if you have the secret of the taboo, you still can't do it." The sealed heaven region's expert roared. He used all his strength. The huge palm was boundless like a millstone of the universe. It wanted to obliterate the strongest creatures in the world. "If you don't believe me, then let's see if I can kill you with a single punch." Su Yin coldly shouted. His majestic appearance looked a lot more majestic. The power from his arm was like the resurrection of a peerless demon lord. Some people were shocked. Su Yan's words were too frightening. He wanted to kill the Almighties with a single punch? Was this guy crazy? The whole world became blurry. The fury of the Almighties was like the power of billions of universes sweeping over. It formed an energy field that could destroy the world. The entire great realm of life was about to collapse. The pupils of the 2 great figures from the sky bamboo lineage suddenly constricted as a trace of shock appeared in their eyes. This was because they both saw an extremely resplendent streak of light leap up from the region where the light of order intersected. This kind of light forcefully collapsed the power of order. What kind of power was this? It could tear apart the Almighty's power. Could Su Yin really have a taboo foundation? In the destructive space, Su Yin looked up to the sky and roared. His long black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were like lightning. This was because his arm was shattered. An uncontrollable energy was galloping like a million Pegasus. "Dragon totem, erupt for me. Open a bloody path for me." With a wild roar, Su Yan's furious state was released. His arms smashed out. In an instant, the world trembled. This was a boundless energy storm that could topple mountains and overturn seas. It flowed down Su Yan's arm and began to pour out in full force. Boom! Like a horrifying comet rising from the ground, the energy ripples were terrifying. It swept through hundreds of great regions, alarming the powerhouses of all races in the world. They all looked on in horror. Ever since the dragon totem destroyed Zhu Fu, it had been in a state of slumber. Now, in the ancestral land of the sky bamboo lineage, it had been revived by stealing the essence of the giant bamboo. Su Yin felt that it was stronger than before and should be able to contend with the Almighties. But when the dragon totem emerged, Su Yin discovered that he had severely underestimated the dragon totem. Its might had crushed all the light of order, and it was accompanied by the birth of a savage beast. It was an extremely frightening scene. A true dragon soared through the skies, its radiance overflowing the heavens. Oh heavens! All the spectating cultivators trembled. They couldn't clearly see what the energy form that erupted from Su Yan's fist was, but they could see a terrifying life form traversing through the sky, looking down on all living things. It was suffused with the divine might of a supreme being, tearing apart the light of order that was trapping Su Yin. This scene was so shocking that the spectators were horrified from the depths of their souls. It was as if they had seen a supreme being that ruled over all living things. They were so frightened that they wanted to kneel down and worship. PFFF. The five half-step almighties from the sealed heaven region screamed miserably. They were too close to the almighties, so they were attacked by the energy ripples and were about to die here. Their eyes were filled with fear. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? As for Zhu Yuanqing and the others, they were truly paralyzed on the ground. They were frightened by Su Yan's strength, and their scalps went numb. If Su Yan had unleashed such divine might before, they wouldn't have been able to survive. They would have died in a single exchange. Some of the old ancestors even smiled bitterly. Bamboo Moon was right. If they allowed Su Yan to make his move, they wouldn't have a good ending. Almighties, right? Take this. Su Yan's entire body was covered in a terrifying radiance. His body soared into the sky, emitting boundless divine light. The dragon totem that Su Yan hammered out with his arm instantly arrived in front of the Almighties. Just the divine might of a supreme being alone was enough to frighten the Almighties of the sealed heaven region. They were definitely being looked down upon by another supreme being. Do you think I can't stop you? The Almighties felt humiliated in their fear. Although this was what they were most worried about, they still had to face it head-on. If they couldn't endure it, they would definitely be beaten to death by Su Yan. That's the territory of the heavenly bamboo lineage. What's happening? I seem to have seen Almighties burning their blood of life. In this vast region, many experts from various races were shocked. They saw Almighties erupting with all their might, burning their origin energy until the universe was riddled with holes. An aura that could destroy the heavens, and the earth constantly surged out. They were stunned. What was going on? The tragic incident in the sealed heaven region had only ended a few days ago. What happened in the heavenly bamboo lineage? How could Almighties risk their life to release their aura? Look, everyone. A great character lost his composure. He vaguely caught a glimpse of a majestic true dragon. It carried a prehistoric aura as it crossed over to the side of the sealed heaven region's Almighties and engaged in a huge collision. Resplendent light leaked out, and it was so dazzling that it was difficult to open one's eyes. The shockwaves from the collision were too violent. There were also loud explosions, and cracks appeared on the mountains and the earth. Even blood splashed out and dyed the vast sky red. What's going on? Too many experts were trembling. Could it be that the taboo had taken action again? That was because they saw Almighties risk their life with a chaotic aura. His chest seemed to have been pierced through, and blood poured out from it. It crushed the mountains and caused the earth and rocks to overflow into the sky. As for the experts who were extremely close to the battlefield, they were all stupefied. They could clearly see that vicious Su's punch had crushed the chest of a powerful cultivator and penetrated through his body. The powerful cultivator's blood essence was greatly weakened, and he staggered and fell to the ground, trembling uncontrollably. He really does have Almighty's foundation. The 5 ancestors of the heavenly bamboo lineage trembled. Su Yin wasn't joking with them. He really did have one. Who could seriously injure Almighties and even rely on one's foundation? Even the 5 half-step Almighties from the sealed heaven region were about to cry. Could it be that another Almighties of their race had fallen? At the thought of the taboo, they recalled the scene of their race's Almighties falling. They felt that this Almighties wouldn't be able to escape this calamity and would surely die along with them. Old thing, didn't you want to kill me? Give me another punch. Let's see if I can smash you apart. Su Yin rose from the ground, and his body traversed the earth. He appeared in front of the seriously injured Almighties with a monstrous stench of blood and roared, "You're still looking down on me from high above. Now, you're just an ant in my eyes." The deities trembled. One more punch, and the Almighties would surely be blown apart. Many people couldn't bear to watch. In short, the 5 half-step Almighties from the sealed heaven region had already run away. They ran as fast as they could and never wanted to come back. As for the source, the Almighties screamed miserably. No one could tell that these were shameful cries. Su Yin stood in the place where the Almighties were bleeding. His eyes were filled with killing intent as his furious roars reverberated between heaven and earth. His fists were dyed red with blood, but he was still hammering the Almighties with one punch after another. This scene was too frightening. What were they looking at? Su Xianren was suppressing Almighties with one punch after another. Every punch drew blood, but no one realized that the blood was spilled by Su Yan's fists. No one saw that the half-step Almighty's battle armor that Su Yin was wearing was torn apart. Kill! The continuous roars released the stench of blood from Su Yan's body. His majestic back made it difficult for people to look straight at him. In the end, Su Yin held the immortal iron rod and smashed it down, cracking the Almighty's skull. His feet stomped on the Almighty's chest, and his other fist broke the Almighty's throat. Damn it! The Almighties from the sealed heaven region let out a hysterical roar. He wanted to curse out loud. Damn it! Why are you running? Su Yan's foundation has been exhausted. He's using the power of the Divine King to smash me. Chapter 1029. Su Yin looked up at the sky and let out a long cry. He was bathed in blood as the half-step Almighty battle armor on his body was completely shattered. What's going on? Some people's faces darkened when they saw Su Yan's sorrowful appearance. It was as if Su Yin had been beaten up. Why was he crying out in pain? Now, it was clear that the sealed heaven domain's Almighty Patriarch had been beaten beyond recognition by Su Yin. His face was deformed and his body was collapsing. Moreover, the bloody hole in his chest kept bleeding. His internal injuries were quite serious. He was about to be beaten to death. This brat is too bold. At the same time, in the ancestral land of the sky bamboo lineage, 2 Almighties broke out in cold sweat for Su Yin. They could clearly see that Su Yan's foundation had been exhausted. He was using the Divine King to attack and seriously injure the Almighty. Even a seriously injured Almighty couldn't gather their life essence in a short period of time. However, Almighties were Almighties after all. They were astonishingly powerful. Su Yan's fists felt as if they were hitting a mountain ridge. Every punch made his fists bleed. This was equivalent to injuring the enemy while injuring himself. At the same time, Su Yin found it extremely difficult to bear the cold aura emitted by the Almighty. The half-step Almighty battle armor on his body was shattered. Moreover, the Almighty's resentful killing intent wanted to tear Su Yan's body apart. "I'll beat you." The berserk Su Yin didn't care about anything else. He wanted to beat the Almighty up first. In the end, he took out his immortal iron staff. The big iron staff swept across the sky and danced in the wind. This staff smashed the Almighty expert's head with a metallic sound. The recoil caused Su Yan's hand to crack. However, the Almighty expert's head still cracked in the end. The Almighty expert almost fainted and cried out in pain. He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. No. Someone's expression changed as he screamed. Su Yan's aura is at the level of the Divine King. He used a human-shaped puppet and didn't use his foundation. Could it be that his foundation has been exhausted? Seems like it. But he's using the Divine King's power to beat up a mighty expert. Is he crazy? Everyone turned pale. Their faces turned purple, and their bodies were filled with cold air. One had to know that this was an almighty being. Su Yan actually had the guts to not rely on his background and attack a big tiger. This guy was really crazy. Come back. The shrill roar of the mighty figure from the realm of sealing heaven exploded in the ears of the 5 fleeing half-step almighties. The 5 half-step almighties looked back in horror. When they saw Su Yan's situation, they were so angry that their noses were crooked. Su Yan, you brat, stop. The 5 half-step almighties were furious as they roared at the top of their lungs. They quickly turned back, not expecting Su Yan to not use his foundation. They felt extremely humiliated when they thought about how they had fled. My eyes are about to go blind. A divine king is beating up a mighty ancestor. This world is too crazy. The divine king is going to beat up a mighty expert. Some of the godly kings were trembling with fear. They were even itching to give a try. That was a high and mighty, almighty expert. Now, he was being beaten up by a godly king. The mighty figure from the realm of sealing heaven was beaten up by Su Yan until his skin and flesh were lacerated. Su Yan did not even care about his injuries and continued to punch out Su Yan's pent-up anger. Old fart, why aren't you dead yet? Hurry up and die, hurry up and die. Su Yan roared angrily. His blood-stained body glowed as he released his divine devil power and continued to beat up the mighty figure. His eyes were filled with madness and blood. You little bastard, I'm going to kill you. The mighty figure was so angry that he vomited blood. He looked so miserable that he could not even open his eyes. His eyeballs were really black and looked like a pair of panda eyes. Why aren't you leaving yet? Bamboo Moon rushed over with great speed. She carried the 5-colored banner and opened up a space-time crack. It would be too late if they did not leave now, because Su Yan was waiting for the mighty expert's divine energy to gather again. He would definitely fall if he did not have any other trump cards. Mother of asterisk Kerr, are you made of iron? I can't even beat you to death. You're lucky. Before leaving, Su Yan gave a ruthless kick. The mighty expert from the realm of sealing heaven was kicked into the sky like a sandbag by Su Yan. His head was bleeding profusely, and it was a miserable sight to behold. The deities began to doubt their lives. One had to know that this was a mighty expert, yet he was humiliated to such an extent by Su Yan. They were terrified. How crazy was this? If news of this spread, it would surely shock the world. The mighty expert from the realm of sealing heaven roared in grief. He was so angry that his heart ached. His liver and lungs were in pain. Even his nostrils were spewing out smoke. He had never been so furious before. An invincible giant who looked down on the world was actually beaten up by a junior and almost exploded. What was happening to the world? Were the mighty experts withdrawing from the stage? Why did Su Yan dare to beat him up like this? Why? I'm a mighty expert. He's emitting smoke? Zhu Yongjia muttered in a daze. He pointed at the mighty expert from the realm of sealing heaven and said to the people nearby, he's so angry that he's emitting smoke? He's so angry that he's emitting smoke. Zhu Yuanqing ruthlessly kicked Zhu Yongjia to shut him up. The group of experts from the Sky Bamboo lineage didn't know what to say. Today, they had truly witnessed the bloody scene of a mighty expert being beaten up. Su Xianren had even escaped. Bamboo Moon had used the 5-colored war banner to open a spatial rift. They had all escaped. Everyone in the world was shocked. Was that really Su Xianren? They began to doubt their lives. When did a mighty expert become so miserable? He was about to die at the slightest provocation. This mighty expert from the realm of sealing heaven was truly in a more miserable state than death. How could he face others and his fellow Taoists in the world? Are we going to let them go just like this? In the ancestral ground of the Sky Bamboo lineage, one of the mighty experts frowned and said, "There's also my clan's appointed disciple." Why? Are you going to intercept him? Another mighty expert's expression changed slightly. He said in a grave tone, "If Su Yin still has a taboo foundation, can you stop him?" "That's not the case." He shook his head slightly and sighed softly. "Should we do something? My clan's appointed disciple was personally approved by the Sky Bamboo Patriarch. His future is definitely not simple. But if they escape like this, the chances of survival are very low. Young people have their own way of living. They have to experience the ups and downs of life." Another mighty expert's figure was somewhat blurry as he left behind a sentence. "If we leave her behind, her life will be ruined. Let her be. If she dies, then she dies. If she lives, then she lives. If the five-colored war banner is lost, then we'll just take it back." This mighty expert was silent, but he could foresee that the chaos ruins would be in chaos during this period of time. Chase after them. At the final moment, a mournful roar exploded, causing the vast region to tremble. The severely injured mighty expert finally began to gather his life source. But his injuries were terrible. There was a large hole in his chest that was constantly bleeding. This kind of injury was extremely difficult to treat. It required a long period of recuperation, and it might not even be able to be suppressed. But now, no matter what happened, even if he died, even if his clan was exterminated, he, the mighty expert of the Sealing Heaven region, would crush Su Yin. Otherwise, he would live in shame for the rest of his life. Chase. The mighty expert of the Sealing Heaven region roared like a madman. The surrounding mountains and rivers trembled violently, and all the creatures felt their hair stand on end. They could clearly see the boundless cold air of the mighty expert. There were also powerful soul fluctuations that were vast and mighty. They followed the space-time rift created by the five-colored war banner and began a pursuit. Those who stayed behind recovered from their petrified state. They carefully thought about it, and their hearts stirred. How long could the mighty expert of the Sealing Heaven region live? His chest was pierced, and his foundation was shattered. Although he had gathered his life force, could he really maintain it forever? Even if Su Yin had a taboo foundation, did he still have a taboo foundation? For Su Yin, no matter how many pursuers there were, he had to get away from here, far away. His dragon totem had been exhausted. He had no more trump cards on him, so he had to leave quickly. When they came out of the space-time rift, the pale-faced Bamboo Moon began her second attack. Bamboo Moon, quickly return from your state. Otherwise, if you continue, your life source will be damaged. Su Yin was covered in blood. His chest was heavy, and at the same time, he saw Bamboo Moon's haggard face and felt a pang of pain in his heart. Don't worry about it. Let's leave first. Our time is limited. Save your strength first. Bamboo Moon bit her red lips. The five-colored war banner created a second space-time rift, and they escaped into it. This kind of rift created by a great Tao sacred weapon could easily traverse a large region, and its destination was even farther away. This was the fastest way she could think of at present. Let's go to the incomplete universe. Where can we hide from the calamity? Su Yin thought of a place. He couldn't afford to gamble now. He couldn't continue to wander outside, so entering the universe's secret realm was the safest. After all, the universe's secret realm was suppressed by the universe's environment, which could prevent strong cultivators from entering. Bamboo Moon unleashed 3 consecutive attacks, activating the five-color war banner and creating a space-time rift. However, Su Yin vaguely sensed that there was an unusually venomous aura behind them that was rapidly approaching them. It was getting closer and closer. Let me do it. Su Yin stopped Bamboo Moon from creating a 4th space-time rift. He took out a golden boundary-breaking talisman and slashed it with force. The moment the talisman burned, it directly tore open a space-time rift. This was a region-crossing, boundary-breaking talisman made by a powerful cultivator. It was very expensive, and Su Yin only had 3 on him. Seeing this, Bamboo Moon was relieved. With this talisman, they could temporarily get rid of the pursuers. They wouldn't be in so much danger. Su Yin and the others had escaped into the space-time rift for less than 10 breaths. As expected, a powerful cultivator with a different face was approaching. He stared at the newly healed space-time rift and said ferociously, It's the boundary-breaking talisman. They can't hold on anymore. They have absolutely no foundation left. With the power of his primordial spirit, the powerful cultivator could capture the movement of the boundary-breaking talisman and quickly lock onto Su Yin. In short, one region after another was in complete chaos. Every large region was in a state of chaos. Miserable auras filled the entire region. An almighty from the sealed heaven region passed by with great resentment. There was a huge bloody hole in his chest from which blood kept flowing out. What happened? What is the powerful cultivator looking for? He even has panda eyes. Is he fighting a mighty figure in close combat? Some stammered and didn't know what to say. In short, as the powerful cultivators from the sealed heaven region passed by, the world was in chaos. The storm gathered and started to spread toward the great Tao city again. Su Yin used 3 boundary-breaking talismans. Even so, they were still some distance away from the great Tao city. Fortunately, they had 3 boundary-breaking talismans. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have time to breathe. Just like that, they were getting closer and closer to the great Tao city. However, the powerful cultivators from the sealed heaven region were getting closer and closer. In fact, there was already an aura radiating toward them. It was an unusually fierce killing intent that swept across the entire region where the great Tao city was located. What a terrifying smell of blood. This is the aura of a powerful cultivator. Is the storm starting again? In the great Tao city, some of the natives were numb. Bloody events happened one after another in the great Tao city. Their hearts really couldn't take it anymore. They really hoped that it would stop for a while so that they could digest the major events that happened during this period of time. There will be more at night. Prepare. Qing Tian will finish all the chapters that are owed this week. Chapter 10:30. The Great Tao City, the number 1 city in the universe, was very lively these days. However, it was a little too lively. The original residents of the city were all thinking, don't let anything big happen. Can't we just have some peace for a while? Especially the strong people who rented the cultivation rooms. They were crying. If this continues, how can we have peace? Back then, when Madman Su blew up the Han family's Master Grandmaster on the Great Tao battle platform, he won the shocking bet. Tragic events happened one after another. Even the powerful beings had to suffer grievances, and the life forbidden zones were almost completely wiped out. In the end, the forbidden event spread, causing chaos and panic. Especially the big shots who used to look down on the strong people. But now they realized that there was a supreme giant looking down on them too, treating them like ants. This contrast was really hard to accept. However, at this very moment, within the great Tao city, a horrifying fluctuation surged out once more. No one knew where it came from, but it surged and spread out in all directions. Bastard, what do you think the great Tao city is? Is this a place to go sightseeing? The group of old antiques from the Tao temple were so angry that they jumped out one after another, their faces gloomy. The great Tao city's dignity had suffered a serious blow. The once number 1 city in the universe seemed especially small these days. Now that there was another wave of aura, the old strong people of the Tao temple could not sit still anymore. What kind of power was the Tao temple? Since ancient times, they had always been above the thousands of races and were not inferior to any peak orthodoxies. They were not afraid of the life forbidden zone. However, people kept causing trouble in their territory, and King Kampa could not stand it anymore. He cursed in his heart, "Damn it, do you believe that if I roar, Big Brother is my master, you'll be scared to death?" Although the prehistoric Big Brother was going through a tribulation and was extremely dangerous, no one would believe that he would die under the universe's heavenly punishment. Even if such a giant did not appear, it was enough to deter the thousands of sects. However, King Kampa did not dare to do so. He was afraid that people from the sealed heaven region would come to deal with him. Now, the sealed heaven region's forbidden information was suspected to have been leaked, shocking the thousands of races in the universe. Buzz, a group of powerful cultivators from the Tao Palace rose into the air. Their auras enveloped the entire region. Their divine might was awe-inspiring and terrifying. They all opened their heavenly eyes and looked at the universe. Even if a powerful being was using his divine power to suppress a large region, they would still stand up and demand an explanation. Their Tao Temple was not afraid of all races in the world. The Tao Temple's foundation was not inferior to the sky bamboos. Even if it was weak, it would not be weak. It might even be strong enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with the sealed heaven region. Boom! However, the aura that continued to churn suddenly surged by a large margin and continued to spread. It covered the surrounding large regions and faintly formed a strange pattern that sealed the sky and the land. Bastards, it's them again. Are they crazy? Don't you think enough people have died already? The faces of the mighty ones from the holy Ji temple turned ugly. This was the aura of the mighty ones from the sealed heaven region. What are they trying to do? Could it be that they still wanted to start a war? Could it be that they had to launch a forbidden, bloody battle and kill until a corner of the universe was shattered before they would stop? Could it be that the supreme glory of all races was more important than the threat of being crushed to pieces at any time? There was no doubt that the mighty ones from the Tao Palace had guessed the intentions of the sealed heaven region. That clan had suffered heavy losses one after another, and their foundation had been greatly damaged. Even their ancestral land had been breached. There was also news that a forbidden aura had appeared in that clan. However, none of this could be confirmed. This was a dangerous sign. Now that the sealed heaven region was causing trouble again, it was likely that they had confirmed that the clan really did have a forbidden aura. Su Yin, where can you run to? You little bastard, killing you 10,000 times won't be enough. A shrill roar exploded, shaking the entire great Tao city into a deathly silence. Everyone really did not know what to say. It was him again. Could it be that Su Xianren was still in the Great Path City? Did he not know that there was a forbidden incident in the sealed heaven region? This is bad. My brother is in danger. Isn't that kid in the sky bamboo? Could it be that he has been forced out? King Kampa's eyelids twitched wildly. The mighty ones from the sealed heaven region had used their divine minds to sweep across this vast region. They were definitely searching for Su Yin. Now that they were searching for Su Yin, were they really not afraid of the prehistoric big brother? King Kampa despised them in his heart when he saw that the group of elders from the Tao Palace who were filled with indignation a moment ago had become mute. After all, they had to get the approval of the elders from the Tao Palace to become enemies with the sealed heaven region. They were not qualified to tell the sealed heaven region to stop immediately. It's the aura of the mighty ones from the sealed heaven region. The vast region was constantly rumbling. Tragic fluctuations were vast and mighty, containing a terrible sealing power, the power to suppress the region. When the people saw the source of the aura rushing toward them, they were stunned. They thought that their eyes were playing tricks on them. What was that? One of the almighty experts from the sealed heaven domain had his chest pierced through. There was a huge, bloody hole in his chest, and blood was gushing out of it. His whole body was disfigured, and he had 2 F asterisk king panda eyes. Who beat him up? Some people couldn't bear to watch. They even wanted to say, "Can't you pay attention to your image?" The mighty ones in their hearts were now appearing in such a style, which really blinded their divine eyes. Some people even felt their jaws almost fall off when they caught the raging fury of the mighty one. Could it be that Su Yin had done it? Otherwise, why would the mighty one from the sealed heaven region be so angry? You can't escape. The mighty one from the sealed heaven region didn't care about what the world thought of him. He stretched out a giant hand that blotted out the sky and collapsed many space-time tunnels. At the end of the tunnel, 2 figures could be seen, and they were guarded by 5 colored battle flags. Oh my God, it's really Su Xianren. The gods were frightened. They were very curious about how they had found Su Yin. The mighty one is ignoring the rules and targeting Su Xianren. Is the sealed heaven region going to start a world-ending war? The taboo of their race is definitely true. It's very likely that they've already come out of seclusion. Could it be that they're going to fight Su Xianren's backer? Who knows? But the sealed heaven region is completely angering the taboo. but they're obviously not afraid. This matter made the heroes speechless. The Mighty One had ignored the rules and attacked Su Yin. It was obvious that he didn't put the prehistoric Big Brother in his eyes. This meant that the race really did have a taboo foundation. We're almost there. Hold on a little longer. Bamboo Moon's face was pale and bloodless. Her eyes were flickering. The five-colored battle flag in her hand shone and flowed out streaks of five-colored divine light. It collapsed a large space-time crack. She pulled Su Yin and crossed it towards their destination. As soon as Su Yin and Bamboo Moon left, the region began to shake and become riddled with holes. The mountains and the earth began to sink. Earth and rocks rolled, and loud noises rang out. Many people felt dizzy and their vision blurred. Their chi and blood surged, and blood flowed out from the corners of their mouths. A group of cultivators who had encountered an unexpected disaster wanted to curse out loud. Who did they offend? Old fart. Why didn't I smash you just now? You lucky old turtle. There was also a furious voice that reverberated in the space and traveled very far. This sentence made the heroes dumbfounded. What did it mean? The Mighty One's injuries were caused by Su Yin? They began to doubt their lives. This was a bloody incident that was enough to shock the world. King Kampa was alarmed. Although he had obtained a Mighty One's killing move for Su Yin, it was impossible to rely on such a foundation to heavily injure a Mighty One. It can't be. King Kampa shivered. He guessed that it was the foundation left behind by the prehistoric Big Brother that almost killed the mighty ancestor of the sealed heaven region. Little bastard, how long can you jump around? I'm going to capture you alive and skin you alive. The venomous aura continued to resound, causing the gods to tremble. It wanted to penetrate their souls. Their hair stood on end. It was really Su Yin who did it. What kind of method did this guy use to beat up an almighty being to the point of having panda eyes? The Mighty One hated Su Yin to the extreme. He wanted nothing more than to skin him alive. Damn it, he was almost smashed by a divine king. If news of this spread, he felt that he had no face to appear in the world. Did he even dare to imagine? The reason why the sealed heaven region had fallen to such a state was all because of this little divine realm cultivator. In their eyes, this ant had dug a pit and made them jump in the fire pit. It was all because of Su Yin. If they couldn't get rid of this root cause, the sealed heaven region would feel that they had no face to face their ancestors. They couldn't kill the prehistoric Big Brother, but couldn't they deal with a little Su Yin? Especially when he recalled how he had kowtowed to the prehistoric Big Brother until his head was bleeding. He gritted his teeth, went crazy, and roared. He wanted to swallow Su Yin alive. They also wanted to make Su Yin kneel in the sealed heaven region and repent for thousands of years. Rumble. The Mighty One's blood-stained palm passed through the space-time crack and swept toward Su Yin. He wanted revenge to wash away the humiliation and beat Su Yin up. Piece after piece of territory caved in. Dirt and rocks shot out in all directions, and smoke and dust filled the sky. Layers of space collapsed. This was a destructive attack. He wanted to capture Su Yin regardless of the consequences. Buzz. However, when the Mighty One's palm reached a blurry area of chaos, it slowly stopped. He could see that there was an incomplete universal law in front of him. It was inviolable. Bastard. The Mighty One from the sealed heaven region gritted his teeth. Although he was angry, he wasn't crazy enough to kill his way in. You little bastard, you can really run. Do you think you'll be fine if you run here? My tribe doesn't only have Chiu Ming. We also have the sealed heaven 10 heroes. 10 young heaven's prides. They're enough to beat you to death. The face of the severely injured Almighty was extremely gloomy. He allowed a furious roar. Pass down my orders. Capture Su Yin. I want him to have nowhere to live in this world. Whoever dares to take him in will be killed by the entire clan. The Mighty One's resentful roar echoed between heaven and earth. It contained a bone-piercing, killing intent that wanted to split the 9 heavens. Everyone was frightened. They were worried that the Mighty One would explode from anger. What did Su Yin do to him? Why was the mighty figure so angry that smoke came out of his nostrils? Moreover, The words he said were too cruel. How much did this almighty ancestor hate Su Yin to the point that he personally said such words? In short, the entire Great Tao City was in an uproar. Su Yin was obviously forced into a desperate situation. Chapter 1031. A turbulent storm swept across and continued to spread, shaking the surrounding regions and finally alerting all the races in the world. The cruel words of the Almighty from the sealed heaven region echoed in the world. They wanted to make sure that Su Yin would never survive. They wanted to trap Su Yin in the incomplete universe until he died. What did this mean? It was enough to prove that the sealed heaven region had a taboo foundation and was not afraid of the return of the prehistoric Big Brother. Moreover, Su Yin had killed the gods of the sealed heaven region and was now being suppressed by the universe's divine punishment. As for the safety of the prehistoric Big Brother, no one knew. However, the sealed heaven region still did it. They attacked in a thunderous manner, and these are the harsh words of a severely injured Almighty. Although the Almighty from the sealed heaven region failed, they succeeded in forcing Su Yin into a once flourishing, incomplete universe. The furious words of the Almighty from the sealed heaven region still echoed in the Great Tao City. He was really angry. He was beaten by Su Yin and a small god and almost died. He suffered serious psychological trauma and was about to go crazy. However, these were nothing compared to the losses of the sealed heaven region. All of this was because of Su Yin. He had set up a trap in the Great Tao City and attracted many old monsters to target Su Yin. However, everyone could see that Su Yin's trap was not targeted at them. They were definitely targeting the sealed heaven region and Xiaoming's clan. Xiaoming's clan had suffered a great loss, and their foundation had declined greatly. A total of 5 Almighties had died, and over 1,000 treasures had been looted. It could be said that the accumulation of the sealed heaven region in this universe era was all used up. How could the people of the sealed heaven region not be angry? How could they not be mad? Even the Almighty was so angry that he wanted to swallow Su Yin alive. Who in the world dares to take in this little bug? My clan will not let them off easily. The almighty expert from the realm of sealed heaven let out an extremely cold roar that echoed through the mountains and rivers. He even prepared to dispatch the true chosen ones of his race to this incomplete universe to hunt down Su Yin. Actually, Su Yin being forced into the incomplete universe made him feel at ease. After all, the incomplete universe had extremely terrifying cosmic laws. It was forbidden to exceed the amount of energy that the universe could bear. Once Su Yin used this method, he would definitely be suppressed by the incomplete universe. Of course, the fact that Su Yin had been chased all the way here was enough to show that he had exhausted all his resources. Now was the perfect opportunity to kill him. The sealed heaven region has really been driven crazy. Even an almighty expert has stepped out and disregarded his reputation to target a junior. They're also ignoring that deity. Just how strong is their foundation? Some of the peak clans lost their composure. They had seriously underestimated the life Forbidden Zone. From how terrifying the prehistoric Big Brother was, it was enough to see how heaven-defying the Forbidden Zone was. However, the sealed heaven region also had such a background. Needless to say, the sealed heaven region is now acting high and mighty, looking down on all the clans in the world as if nothing had happened. Their foundation is really deep. Some people were shocked. No wonder these overlords were the biggest winners over the years. Their foundation was far beyond the world's expectations. That's natural. Now that the sealed heaven region has suffered great losses because of Su Xianren, it would be strange if they let him go easily. How long do you think it will take to capture Su Yin? Some people were speechless. Since the sealed heaven region had spoken such ruthless words in front of the world, it meant that their foundation was still there. They didn't dare to discuss this matter. The storm that had swept through the Great Tao City was still unforgettable. They had a deep fear of Su Yin. Why did the almighty expert stop just now? Some people voiced their doubts. The Great Tao City was not calm. Some old antiques gazed at the indistinct chaotic zone where Su Yin had disappeared and suddenly said, That place seems to be an incomplete universe. What? An incomplete universe? All the deities turned pale. Now, all the experts in the world were searching for the incomplete universe that had faintly appeared in the chaotic ruins. Once it was unearthed, it would be a heaven-defying opportunity. They really didn't know why there was an incomplete universe near the great Tao City. The situation is different from what you think. Someone laughed and said that incomplete universe was indeed prosperous for a period of time, and it was a place that all sects would fight for. However, as time passed, the energy of this incomplete universe gradually dissipated, and the incomplete universe gradually declined. Not only are there no opportunities, but it is also extremely dangerous. You can easily lose your life. The incomplete universe is about to sink, and there are many universe rifts. Once you are swept up, even the Divine King will not be able to escape. This was an expert who spoke. Since the incomplete universe had been damaged to a certain extent, the stronger one's cultivation was, the more dangerous it would be to enter. This was because overly powerful life forms would cause space-time to become unstable. Only powerhouses below the Divine King realm would have a higher chance of survival if they entered. Then wouldn't Su Xianren be trapped in the incomplete universe? Everyone in the great Tao City was discussing this matter. This matter was a little shocking. Su Yan's fierce reputation was overflowing, and he had the support of the taboo. However, this support was now being suppressed by the universe. Su Yan had many enemies. Once he was trapped in the incomplete universe, he would definitely attract countless enemies to kill him. Su Xianren probably didn't expect such a change. Originally, with the support of the taboo, he could do whatever he wanted in the universe. Now, it seems that his life is in danger. He even has the sealing heaven domain in front of him. The key is, if the taboo really returns alive, will they intervene in the confrontation of peers? In any case, there were undercurrents in the great Tao City, and cold murderous intent was spreading. The atmosphere in the city was oppressive. King Kampa's expression changed, and his expression was uncertain. He seemed to have seen that the incomplete universe Su Yan was in would become a terrifying dragon's pool and tiger's den, a place where young overlords gathered. Did he just throw himself into this mess? No matter how strong Su Yan is all of a sudden, will he be able to withstand the attacks of all the heroes in the universe? King Kampa sighed in his heart, and then he disappeared. He was ready to go to the Taoist temple and resign from all his duties. After all, he had a huge amount of wealth in his hands. In addition to the guidance from the prehistoric Big Brother, King Kampa was confident that he could make a breakthrough. One day, when I step into the realm of the Almighty, I will repay this kindness. King Kampa was quite carefree. He originally thought that he would never have the chance to break through to the realm of the Almighty, but now it seemed different. He saw some hope. This was given to him by the prehistoric Big Brother, who gave him a great way to reach the heavens. King Kampa was also unrestrained. If he really stepped into the realm of the Almighty, this kindness would be great. I'm going to kill Su Yan, kill him. In an ice-cold, underground palace, the furious voice of the Heaven Protector Battle God echoed. He couldn't forget the scene of Su Yan cruelly suppressing him, and the scene of Su Yan beating him up with the help of the human-shaped puppet. That incident had really left a shadow in the Heaven Protector Battle God's heart. He had almost died in the hands of Su Yan. That incomplete universe suppresses one's battle strength. Su Yan can't use the Divine King's puppet anymore. The Heaven Protector Battle God clenched his fists, and his face was full of humiliation. He had a supreme physique and didn't fear any king in the world. But last time, he was almost beaten to death by Su Yan. "Let me out, uncle, trust me." The Heaven Protector Battle God's eyes were filled with flames of anger. He had almost lost his mind. "Calm down." An old general under the Taoist temple's old man came over and shouted with a gloomy face, "Your injuries haven't healed yet. Let's talk after you've recovered." Damn it. The Heaven Protector Battle God's face was ashen. His injuries were indeed very serious, and he hadn't recovered even after so many days. He said angrily, I want to return to the Taoist temple and recover as soon as possible. Su Yin has been forced into the universe's secret realm and won't live for long. I have to hurry over. I won't be at ease if I don't kill him." The Taoist temple's old man, who had lost an arm, had a gloomy expression. He also wanted to crush Su Yin to death, but he didn't dare. With the taboo above, once he returned and dared to make a move, he would be the first to be killed. At the same time, the Taoist temple's old man gloomily looked at the chaotic zone where Su Yin had disappeared. He could vaguely calculate that this incomplete universe wouldn't exist for much longer. Once a large number of experts rushed in, this incomplete universe wouldn't last for more than a year before completely collapsing. Even if Su Yan's battle strength was so strong that he could survive the hunt of experts, the collapse of the incomplete universe would bury Su Yan forever. Who has that immortal Tao substance? The Taoist temple's old man pondered. His injuries were very serious. The prehistoric Big Brother had left an indelible wound on his body, causing him to be unable to seal his aura. His lifespan was slipping away with each passing day. If he couldn't find a solution, he would pass away in meditation. Godly medicines were useless for his injuries, so the immortal Tao substance was the only thing left. The Taoist temple's old man couldn't sit still. He really wanted to get his hands on the immortal Tao substance, but the Heaven Protector Battle God was seriously injured and couldn't rush into the incomplete universe right now. The reason why this incomplete universe, which had once flourished for a period of time, was depleted so quickly was because a terrifying war had broken out. Countless young experts had participated in it, and there were even supremes among them. This was because a heaven-defying substance called the reincarnation fruit had appeared in this incomplete universe. This was a fruit that could make even the eyes of powerhouses go red. It was rumored that a single reincarnation fruit was enough to allow one to live another life. It was precisely because of the reincarnation fruit that all the major races had gone to war, causing this incomplete universe to rapidly age. Now, it couldn't afford to suffer too much. As Su Yin entered this secret realm, he relaxed. He knew very well that he would be safe for a period of time. He said in a deep voice, "Bamboo Moon, according to you, I won't be able to stay here for too long." Bamboo Moon also had some understanding of this universe secret realm and explained many rumors to Su Yin. Her face was pale and bloodless as she returned from the forbidden secret technique state. Su Yin was relieved because Bamboo Moon's situation was much better than he had imagined. She could still stand, but her voice was somewhat weak. "Yes, since you've chosen to break through to the heavenly god realm here, you must speed up. This place is extremely dangerous, so we must be careful." Su Yan's pupils turned golden. The eye of the universe was constantly open, observing the blurry, chaotic zone. They traveled together in a world with a peaceful atmosphere, passing through many chaotic zones. As they went deeper, the influence of the incomplete universe became stronger and stronger. It was a very strange influence, as if they had barged into a vast reincarnation kingdom. Su Yin was a little confused. He thought of many things, but they were vague and unreal. It was as if he had never experienced it before, as if it was a dream. He wanted to see more clearly, so he moved closer to the source. Finally, at this moment, Su Yin crossed the chaotic zone with large strides and arrived at a place between heaven and earth. There was a faintly discernible space-time crack here. It was as if the chaos that had flowed for billions of years had collapsed, filling with a kind of aura that suppressed all life in the universe. It was even suffused with a kind of vague law that brought all life in the universe along with the reincarnation. Su Yan's body surged with a mysterious light, like the light of time and time. It was blurry like the light of time and blended together with the reincarnation aura emitted by this space-time crack. Boom! In an instant, the chaotic zone trembled violently, as if the slumbering king of reincarnation had awoken. It was enough to make the universe sink into oblivion. Bamboo Moon's slender hand covered her bright red lips as she resisted the urge to cry out. The world in front of her changed. Su Yin floated in the void, and in front of him, A space-time crack appeared, breaking through the chaos and heading towards this world. It was as if it had crossed thousands of worlds, carrying with it the aura of life and death that made one panic, as if it wanted to swallow Su Yin. Chapter 1032. Bamboo Moon wanted to pull Su Yin and flee. She had never heard of such a ridiculous thing. But now, she saw the blurry space-time crack. In an instant, it lit up and spread rapidly. It was as if it had crossed thousands of years. It was filled with the aura of life and death as it rushed towards Su Yin. Don't panic. Once he did so, it would be very dangerous. A top great Tao sacred weapon was powerful, but what was this place? This was a broken universe. Now that the broken universe had changed, once it was attacked, how could the five-colored war flag withstand it alone? Buzz! His body lit up with a mysterious light. Although he was in the state of body nurturing technique, he still emitted strange waves. It was like an aura that was sealed for so long that it was difficult to trace it back. It was very mysterious, unfathomable. He seemed to see a complete universe, condensed together and presented in a different form. It was filled with the cycle of life and death, filled with the supreme mystery of the universe, and emitted a supreme power that could deprive all living things. But in his observation, the space-time crack that crossed over changed. It was like a huge black wheel. It was terrifying and frightening. The huge wheel seemed to encompass all the heavens. How terrifying! It lay between heaven and earth, motionless as if it had been silent for millions of years. It suppressed Su Yin and made him breathe heavily. Could this broken universe have once been a supreme treasure? A secret technique or a supreme treasure? He focused his attention. He wanted to operate his primordial spirit to observe again, but his spirit could not bear it. It was really about to be extinguished in the trembling. The world gradually returned to peace. Su Yin gasped for breath and looked left and right. He asked Bamboo Moon, "Did you see the scene just now?" Seeing Su Yin come to his senses, Bamboo Moon relaxed a lot. But her body was so weak that she was about to fall to the ground. She forced herself to support herself. She did not want Su Yin to worry about her. She squeezed out a smile and said, "I saw the entrance of the broken universe. It seemed to fly over, but it disappeared very quickly. Did you get some opportunity? Could it be because of some special reason that allowed him to see the mysteries of this universe?" He quickly asked how prosperous this incomplete universe was in the past. Bamboo Moon thought about it and said softly, "Because this universe gave birth to the reincarnation fruit. It was called the reincarnation universe. Some people also called it the reincarnation secret realm. Do you know how powerful the reincarnation fruit is? It's not just for recultivation. The value of this item is unimaginable." Zhu Yu said in a deep voice, "Even mighty figures would be envious of it. Of course, the reincarnation of the reincarnation great Tao." Su Yin did not obtain any useful information. He felt that this incomplete universe was not simple. It was very likely that there were other secrets that had not been discovered back then. Su Yin felt like his heart was being scratched by a cat. He jumped into the reincarnation universe along with Bamboo Moon through the space-time crack. From Su Yan's trap to killing half of the sealed heaven region, this matter had stirred up a lot of commotion. Originally, the world thought that a young overlord was going to dominate the world. In the end, it didn't seem to be the case. However, the Han family remained silent. They were still in a sealed state. They didn't respond to Su Yin being forced into the broken universe. It was as if they had been beaten to the point that they couldn't recover from the setback. It's as if they were stimulated. The Lord went through the cruel fiend god furnace refining technique. His strength soared once again. His cultivation in the heavenly god realm is about to end. In a certain dark universe secret realm, there was a huge fiend god furnace. It emitted waves that could refine the universe's stars. It was about to swallow an invincible young overlord sitting cross-legged in it. The moment the voice came, the fiend god furnace trembled. Zhu Tian's aura suddenly erupted. That powerful heavenly god energy spread out, accompanied by the extremely heavy primal chaos origin chi. It forcefully tore open the fiend god furnace. The group of experts under Zhu Tian's command were overjoyed. What kind of mighty force was this to break open the fiend god furnace? This was a cruel training method recorded in history. Once the furnace was broken open, it was enough to establish the status of an invincible force in the same generation. Zhu Tian looked up to the sky and let out a long roar. His aura churned. 10,000 layers of thick blood essence reached the peak of the sky. The energy waves it produced replaced the sky and turned into a war god as tall as the sky, overlooking the universe. A cold voice came from the dark universe, secret realm. It was the voice of an elder from the ancestral hall. Our race suffered too much at the hands of Su Yan. It's not any less than the sealed heaven region's loss. Only by killing Su Yan can our ancestral hall wipe away our shame. Remember, his corpse cannot fall into the hands of the sealed heaven region. It cannot fall into the hands of any other race. Only our race. The world was in turmoil. The competition of the younger generation was interrupted by the appearance of the prehistoric Big Brother. There was still one more universe secret realm. The North Demon didn't say a word. If he couldn't kill Su Yan, his identity as the King of Demons would never be recognized. The bloody incident in the sealed heaven region was a terrifying deterrent. Killing Su Yan? Interesting. Who is that person? They felt a cold, killing intent. It was as if he had bathed in the blood of all the kings in the world. It made them tremble. It was as if a terrifying demon king was walking here. The whole place was in an uproar. Someone said a sentence that made the nearby cultivators tremble in fear. The East Demon was one of the 4 supreme beings who had been in the world for a long time. But no one would have thought that the East Demon would appear here and even want to kill Su Yan. Someone's words made many people shake their heads. This wasn't a big clash. It was a massacre targeted at Su Xianren. Now, many people wanted to kill Su Xianren. Baidu Search Dong 81 Chinese Network O. No advertisement. Chapter 1033. In the reincarnation universe, Su Yan had arrived. Su Yan was particularly curious about the legendary incomplete universe. Legend had it that the incomplete universe was a place of creation. Anyone who could break in would have a great harvest. The world did not know how these universes were formed. There were many theories, but the one closest to reality was that these universes were ancestral homes created by a prosperous prehistoric sect through the efforts of generations. The Almighty could split the heavens and earth and create a universe. After being perfected by generations of ancestors, the magnificent universe rivers and mountains were gradually formed. With the passage of time, the tribes went into decline and defects appeared in the ancestral land. That was how it became the current incomplete universe. Of course, this was just a legend. The secret of how it was formed had not been deciphered. Every incomplete universe had a defect. Once the incomplete universe broke away from the chaos, it would eventually collapse completely with the passage of time. For example, the ancestors of the sealed heaven domain occupied the incomplete universe and forged it into a unique domain. This was using the incomplete universe, but the incomplete universe unearthed from the chaos ruins was limited. Every time it appeared, it would trigger a great war. It was impossible to dominate the incomplete universe with the current universe structure. Another example was the reincarnation universe. This incomplete universe had been beaten to a pulp and had lost its value to the various tribes. Over time, it was no longer noticed by the world and was gradually forgotten. Now, Su Yin and Bamboo Moon had stepped into the incomplete universe together. The dark world was vast and boundless. A super expedition had once taken place here. The earth was full of devastation and was riddled with holes. Cracks had appeared on the mountains and rivers that could not be healed for a long time. This was because the incomplete universe had lost its divine power. Just like the sealed heaven domain, if the divine power continued to leak out, it would become a crippled domain that was no longer suitable for cultivation. The reincarnation universe was completely crippled because the war was too cruel. The dark world was dead silent without any aura of life. It was not suitable for cultivators to grow in it. This is the incomplete universe. Su Yin looked up at the world. The world was also grand and magnificent, but it was full of the aura of disaster. The sky was full of scattered stars, emitting gray light beams. It had lost the vitality of the universe. This place was too big and boundless. It was difficult to find the end. Moreover, the entire world was deathly still. The plants were withered, and the oceans were dried up. There was no sign of life. However, Su Yin didn't sense anything related to the incomplete Tao fruit of the universe. It was as if this world had lost its essence, energy, and spirit. It had lost its insides, leaving behind only an empty shell. The universe is crippled. Su Yin felt that it was a pity. This place must be a sacred Pure Land. If it was nurtured well, it would not be inferior to the sealed heaven region. But who would watch the birth of the next life Forbidden Zone? None of the clans wanted to give in, and in the end, they were completely crippled. Don't tell me there's no value left. Su Yin traversed mountains and rivers in an attempt to find some useful clues. However, he walked very far and passed by many regions. It was the same from beginning to end. Can the reincarnation fruit really be born in such a place? Su Yin was deeply skeptical. He muttered, "The universe has become an empty shell. I'm afraid it can't grow any treasured medicine, let alone a heaven-defying medicine like the reincarnation fruit." At the thought of this, Su Yin asked with great interest, "Bamboo Moon, who took the reincarnation fruit back then?" Bamboo Moon was stumped by Su Yin's question. She was silent for a while and said with a wry smile, "I don't know. There are no records in the ancient books. They only say that the reincarnation fruit mysteriously went missing. After that great battle, the universe was crippled. The experts of the various clans were either killed or injured. The whereabouts of the reincarnation fruit became a mystery." Su Yan's face darkened. Even with the strength of the sky bamboo lineage, they didn't know who took the reincarnation fruit. This was a bit ridiculous. The prehistoric Big Brother needed this thing. Su Yin would definitely do everything he could to pluck the reincarnation fruit. At the thought of this, Su Yin asked, "Back then, no one continued to excavate the reincarnation universe to search for the reincarnation fruit." "You rascal, I thought you knew something." Bamboo Moon said helplessly, "Back then, you wanted to search for the reincarnation fruit with Big Brother. I really thought you guys had a way to accelerate the ripening of the reincarnation fruit." "What do you mean?" Su Yin was stunned. He told her everything about how he knew about the reincarnation fruit. In the end, Bamboo Moon looked at Su Yin with disdain and said, "You're trying to extort me. Why didn't you ask around in advance?" But then again, the reincarnation fruit wasn't widely known. You were tricked by the divine firmament sex experts. Actually, the reincarnation fruit has always existed. It's just that no one has been able to get it. "How could this be?" Su Yin exclaimed. His eyes widened. "I was tricked? You'll know the reason when we reach the destination." A mischievous smile appeared on Bamboo Moon's face as she said, "You should be more careful. If the divine firmament sect has accurate information about the reincarnation fruit, they could just sell it to the sealing heaven region. Why would they let you off so easily?" Su Yan's face darkened. He had been tricked by Lei Jinha. He cursed in his heart. "Divine firmament sect, you're too dishonest. Just you wait. One day, I'll make you guys give me the missing chaotic treasures." Actually, when Su Yin had said that he wanted to search for the reincarnation fruit, Bamboo Moon had thought of this. She had thought that the prehistoric Big Brother would have a way to grow the reincarnation fruit. In the end, she had not expected that Su Yin was the one who was acting on impulse and did not know the inside story at all. "Bamboo Moon, stop laughing," Su Yin said angrily. "Big Brother needs the reincarnation fruit. What do you think we should do? We've already taken the risk to come here. We can't return empty-handed. You think I'm a taboo and know everything? I was still thinking that you would know." Bamboo Moon rolled her eyes at Su Yin. However, she looked so charming that Su Yin almost lost himself. Just like that, the two of them walked in the dark world. This incomplete universe was vast, and it was impossible to bring them to their destination in a short time. Along the way, Su Yin found many traces of battle. Even after a universe epoch, these traces of battle were still there. One could imagine how intense the battle had been back then. Su Yin often opened his heaven and earth eye to observe the mysteries of space. He wanted to find something and even dig out deeper secrets hidden in the reincarnation universe. Unfortunately, Su Yin did not find anything along the way. Su Yin could not forget that mysterious black wheel. He had a feeling that an extremely terrifying treasure might have been born in this reincarnation universe. Just as Su Yin and company were rushing, the great Tao city was becoming more and more chaotic. An entire day had passed. On this day, the great Tao city was engulfed by turbulent storms. Spatial arrays were activated one after another. People from all walks of life swarmed towards the great Tao city. This is really a gathering of the winds and clouds. People from all walks of life have come. Someone was speechless. The storm that Su Yin attracted is really terrifying. Look at his old enemies, Zhu Tian and the North Demon. Both of them have come personally. Originally, the Ancestral Hall did not dare to target Su Yin. They felt that he was setting a trap. In the end, this trap caused the entire Chaos Ruins to explode. Now, the Ancestral Hall did not think that Su Yin still had a trump card to protect himself. In this incomplete universe, even the strongest foundation could not be activated. His humanoid puppet was equivalent to being crippled. Once the domination of the same generation activated, would Su Yin be able to stop Zhu Tian? Zhu Tian's aura was extraordinary. The moment he walked out of the spatial array, his eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at the distant chaos zone. People from all walks of life are rushing over. The great Tao city was in an uproar. There were too many experts from all walks of life who were rushing over. There were even some experts who were secretly watching the show. After all, a huge storm was about to erupt in the reincarnation universe. They wanted to see it with their own eyes. Wind and clouds were disappearing between heaven and earth. An extremely oppressive aura rushed out, revealing fluctuations that caused experts of the same generation to tremble. So powerful, their battle prowess is too strong. The cultivators who were following behind all turned pale. As they were rushing towards their destination, they erupted with each other. Thousands of auras pierced through the heavens, causing the void within 100,000 miles to collapse. These youngsters are truly extraordinary. In another 10 years, as long as the major characters don't appear, the universe will be the world of the youngsters. Some of the older divine kings were shocked. These youngsters were too astonishing, especially the dozen or so experts in the lead. They could be said to be a dozen peerless heavenly deities releasing their auras that suppressed the heavens. They could be said to be unrivaled heavenly deities. I want to slaughter Su Yin. This was the cruel scene of Zhu Tian. It had penetrating power and exploded in everyone's ears. Ha ha! He'll belong to whoever can kill him. The northern beast's hair danced in the wind. He was filled with the aura of a king of 10,000 beasts. He wouldn't back down so easily. I'm not interested in Su Yan's head. I only want to suppress him with the imperishable body. The sagely battle god's words were cold. The imperishable body revealed a vast supreme might. He looked disdainfully at his peers. He had the boldness to rule the world. The dozen or so youngsters all had an unrivaled belief. They released their auras one after another. They vaguely wanted to swallow the great regions, causing the vast world to rumble. It was as if millions of tsunamis were crashing down on the earth. They were extremely powerful and also extremely conceited. They all believed that they had unrivaled battle prowess in their generation. Now, they wanted to test their blade against Su Xianren and show their unrivaled might. However, just as the scene was about to erupt into an uproar, the dozen or so unrivaled overlords of the younger generation were about to clash. Suddenly, a wave of aura descended from the sky. It exuded an aura that could suppress all the kings. It was a kind of king's aura that suppressed the entire scene. An ancient chariot rumbled over from a distance. It carried a figure with an astonishing aura. Because he didn't restrain his aura, the current Xiaoming was like an emperor patrolling the heavens, overlooking the entire scene. From this moment on, all the legends of being unrivaled in the heavenly deity realm collapsed. Xiaoming, fully deserving of the title of Supreme King. Many people were speechless. Xiaoming directly charged over, suppressing all the young experts until they lost their brilliance. Only he looked down on the world. He coldly said, "All of you back down." No. Zhu Tian and the Northern Beast's expressions were cold. They didn't fear Xiaoming. They didn't think that they would be weaker than Xiaoming after stepping into the king realm. Normally, they could give Xiaoming face, but not now. Zhu Tian wanted to kill Su Yan. The Northern Beast also wanted to kill Su Yan and restore his status. They all desired Su Yan's head. How could they give it up just because of Xiaoming's words? How could this be? I said back down. Xiaoming's heart was also filled with anger. With a furious roar, heaven and earth wailed. His king's aura suppressed the entire region, suppressing everyone once again. Xiaoming exuded a suffocating king's aura. He looked down on everyone and coldly shouted, "In this world, no one can surpass my race to kill Su Yan. No one can." Chapter 1034. Suffocating energy fluctuations lingered in the field. Xiaoming was a little annoyed. Who dared to not give him face? Who dared? He, Xiaoming, was a top king in the world. It was a fact that he would become a mighty. Who among the cultivators of the same generation dared to not give him face? Who dared? But now, someone had stood out and did not give him face. Xiaoming was infuriated. Was it because the sealed heaven region had suffered heavy losses, and he had lost a lot of face and prestige? In fact, Xiaoming was overthinking. Why would Zhu Tian be afraid of Xiaoming? The Ancestral Hall was a giant in the universe. No one dared to say that they were the second strongest, so one could imagine how important they were. Although the Ancestral Hall's influence in the Chaos Ruins was not high, the Sealed Heaven region was not the strongest clan in the Chaos Ruins. Saying that the Ancestral Hall was afraid of the Sealed Heaven region, that would only make people laugh their heads off. Xiaoming. Zhu Tian clenched his fists. His expression was cold. If not for the fact that Xiaoming was a top king and the #1 person of the younger generation in the Sealed Heaven region, he would have already fought with him. Zhu Tian was restraining himself, but the people behind him did not. 2 powerful old men stood on his left and right. If one looked carefully, they would see the light of order in their eyes. They were full of divine power that could split heaven and earth. Some people turned pale. The 2 old men behind Zhu Tian were definitely half-step mighty of their clan. Normally, half-step mighty of a clan would not be in charge. They would usually enter a state of seclusion and try to step into the realm of mighty in their lifetime. Generally speaking, those in charge of a clan were mostly experts like the Divine King or extremely senior celestial gods. However, the 2 old men behind Xiaoming were both half-step mighty. "Xiaoming, you can't say that." The 2 old men spoke at the same time. "Su Yan has a blood feud with our race. Moreover, this incomplete universe is not your Sealed Heaven domain's territory. Do you think our race's Zhu Tian is not qualified to enter?" Xiaoming's face was gloomy as he stared at the 2 half-step almighties behind Zhu Tian. The atmosphere in the field suddenly became heavy, as if a great battle was about to break out. How could the Ancestral Hall be afraid of the Sealed Heaven region? Xiaoming was furious. The Ancestral Hall's words sounded good, but why hadn't he seen anyone from the Ancestral Hall targeting him? Su Yan? Although the Han family had suffered heavy losses, how could it compare to the Sealing Heaven region? In any case, Xiaoming had lost too badly in the Battle of Great Dao City. Now that he was angry, he said coldly, "What? Does the Ancestral Hall want to fight with my Sealed Heaven region? When you say that, Xiaoming, do you really have the qualifications to represent your Sealed Heaven region?" The 2 half-step almighties guarding Zhu Tian had cold expressions. Xiaoming had extraordinary potential, but as long as he wasn't a half-step almighty, he couldn't represent a peak race. Moreover, he was facing the Ancestral Hall. Did they really think they were pushovers? Did a declining Overlord race really think that the Ancestral Hall wouldn't dare to open a path and kill their way in? What? Is our race's Xiaoming not qualified enough? Rumbling sounds that were like thunderclaps exploded out, and the vast rivers and mountains trembled. Wave after wave of vast divine might surged over, pressing down on this region like lightning. Those were figures that could swallow the starry sky. They had crossed over from distant regions and rushed over. The 5 experts were as deep as the 5 layers of the starry sky. Their auras suppressed the entire place. Many people turned pale. The sealed heaven region had sent 3 half-step almighties and 2 divine king experts. There was even a faint aura of half-step almighties circulating around them, ready to unleash a shocking attack at any time. Our race's half-step almighties have already said that Su Yin will never be able to survive in this world. Whoever dares to block our path will be the enemy of the sealed heaven region. The auras of the 5 experts combined and formed a supreme aura that suppressed the entire region. This scene made some people feel indignant. They thought to themselves, "Big brother, come quickly. The sealed heaven region is being arrogant again. It has only been a few days." They had completely forgotten the pain after the scars had healed. The experts of the Ancestral Hall had gloomy expressions. They didn't expect so many experts from the sealed heaven region to come, and they even brought great Tao saint weapons. The 2 elders from the Ancestral Hall were slightly dazed. They then sneered and said, "Experts of the sealed heaven region, this is not your territory. Some things can be thought of, but some things can't be." The 5 experts from the sealed heaven region looked gloomy. They didn't expect the experts of the Ancestral Hall to value Su Yin so much. Why didn't they rush out and fight with Su Yin? Now, Su Yin was forced into the broken universe by them, and the Ancestral Hall wanted to take advantage of him. Boom! At this moment, a shadow emerged from the horizon. That tragic killing intent had already filled the entire place before the person arrived. The seriously injured sealed heaven region expert had actually jumped out. The 2 elders of the Ancestral Hall felt their scalps go numb. What was this old thing doing here instead of going back to recuperate? Was a half-step almighty going to participate in this kind of battle? Who said I can't? A cold voice emerged, shaking the heavens and the earth. The 2 elders of the Ancestral Hall trembled. Even half-step almighties couldn't withstand the flames of fury of a half-step almighty. Their hearts trembled as they hurriedly bowed, not daring to show the slightest disrespect. However, the surrounding people had strange expressions. What did they see? A half-step almighty expert from the sealed heaven region had a bloody hole in his chest that kept bleeding. It had been a few days, but the wound was still bleeding. Was he not going to recuperate? So it's this old man. Someone saw through the identity of this half-step almighty. He was the previous leader of the sealed heaven region, named Qiu Boyan. However, his condition wasn't good. It was said that he was injured by Su Yan's foundation and was almost beaten to death by Su Yan. This matter, who dare to talk about it? They can only talk about it in private. However, seeing Qiu Boyan's appearance now, some people wanted to laugh, but they couldn't. In fact, they wanted to say that half-step almighty should pay attention to his image. Old ancestor, leave this to us. The 5 elders of the sealed heaven region were worried about the half-step almighty's injuries. Qiu Boyan said coldly, "It's fine. I want to see Su Yin being captured and taken away with my own eyes." The surrounding people sighed. Qiu Boyan stood there and didn't leave. What else could they say? In fact, many people had come here for the immortal Tao material and Su Yan's human-shaped puppet. Look, someone gazed into the distance and saw a shocking scene. Boom! One figure after another crossed the sky. Blood essence filled their bodies as they stood at the peak of the sky. The aura they emitted caused the sky to tremble and the sun and moon to lose their light. 10 heavenly gods with terrifying auras crossed the horizon. Each of them was awe-inspiring and exuded a peerless heavenly god aura. These were the 10 young heavenly gods. Each of them stood at the peak of the heavenly god realm and began to accumulate the foundation of the Divine King. They wanted to cross the threshold here and exuded cold, killing intent. Good. Our sealed Heaven 10 heroes have arrived. The experts of the sealed Heaven region laughed. The sealed Heaven 10 heroes were the 10 strongest young geniuses after Qiuming. Once they joined forces, even the Divine King would be trapped and killed. The 10 young heavenly gods of the sealed Heaven region. Everyone was in an uproar. In order to kill Su Yin, the sealed Heaven region's young generation had used all their foundation. The 10 young heavenly gods directly rushed over. They were even the future Divine King of the sealed Heaven region. Su Yin blew up the Han family's master. His battle strength is peerless among the young generation. However, the number 1 battle god of the sealed Heaven region, Qiuming, can't enter the incomplete universe. Only the young Overlord of the clan can contend against Su Yin. Obviously, one isn't enough. I didn't expect the sealed Heaven region to send 10 young experts. They're not giving Su Yin any chance to survive. The world was abuzz with discussion. The young overlords who came here sighed. The 10 young experts of the sealed Heaven region were all disciples taught by almighty figures. Once they joined forces, Su Yin wouldn't be able to resist. Greetings, old ancestor. The eyes of the 10 young experts turned red when they saw Qiu Boyan. The killing intent in their bodies surged. Don't say anything. Just rush in and capture Su Yin. A half-almighty said coldly, don't waste time. Move quickly. Elders, don't worry. We'll be back in half a day. The sealed Heaven 10 heroes were very confident. They even felt that killing a chicken with a butcher's knife was overkill. They were 10 geniuses. Dealing with one, Su Yin was really flattering him. Everyone was in an uproar. The great Dao city was in an uproar. Who could stop the 10 Ningxia of the sealed Heaven region when they joined forces? Although Qiuming was the number 1 in the clan, it wasn't difficult for the sealed Heaven region to cultivate 10 young overlords. The sealed Heaven region is really domineering. They sealed the incomplete universe and allowed the sealed Heaven 10 heroes to enter the secret realm to kill Su Xianren. This is equivalent to cutting off Su Yan's escape route. However, Qiu Boyan suffered a great loss in the hands of Su Yan. It said that he was almost beaten up by Su Yan. Now that this almighty figure has stepped forward, the various clans have to give him face. After all, he's fuming. Can Su Xianren survive? The sealed Heaven 10 heroes have already entered and said that they would finish the battle in half a day. The great Dao city was in an uproar again. The incomplete universe was very close to here. Some of the onlookers didn't mind the commotion. Some suggested that the great Dao auction house set up another bet to see how many days Su Xianren could live. The great Dao auction house didn't dare to set up another bet. Moreover, King Kampa had left. He had resigned from all his duties and returned to the Dao temple to cultivate in seclusion. Before he left, he bought all kinds of treasures like crazy, which made the elders in the great Dao auction house jealous. Very few people knew that King Kampa was the big winner in the previous bet. In this chaotic zone, the reincarnation universe had existed for more than a universe epoch. The incomplete universe that was about to collapse was indeed dangerous. Su Yin often saw large space-time rifts in it. However, he had cultivated the eyes of the universe and could completely avoid the dangerous areas. On the way to search for the reincarnation fruit, Su Yin found nothing in the incomplete universe. At this moment, Su Yin suddenly stopped and fiercely turned his head. His eyes widened. He saw Bamboo Moon secretly wiping the blood from the corner of her mouth. When Su Yin saw this, she was flustered and didn't know what to do. She was flustered like a little girl who had done something wrong. Su Yin suddenly clenched his fists. His figure suddenly appeared in front of Bamboo Moon. Only now did he realize that Bamboo Moon's life force was extremely weak. It was faintly showing signs of extinguishing. Su Yin, Bamboo Moon was extremely weak. Her voice was so weak that Su Yin almost couldn't hear it. In her eyes, Su Yan's appearance was a little gray. He was even a little farther away from her, farther and farther away. She stretched out her hands, wanting to grab Su Yin. She didn't want to be so far away from him. She really couldn't hold on anymore. She had reached her limit, and her life was in danger. "Don't leave me," she murmured in the gray. She felt very cold and was a little afraid. It was as if time had returned to many years ago. A pitiful girl was far away from her tribe. She was alone and terrified. Chapter 10:35. Don't be afraid. Suyin walked forward. A gentle energy surged out of his palm and supported Zhu Yu's delicate body that was about to fall to the ground. His breathing was heavy and his chest was heaving up and down. There was a pressure in his heart that made it hard for him to breathe. He could see that Bamboo Moon's condition wasn't good and she was in danger. Her life flame was about to be extinguished. Slap! Suyin slapped himself. He should have known that Bamboo Moon wouldn't walk out of her decline so easily. Suyan's understanding of the forbidden secret technique was limited. He had never come into contact with such a secret technique before. On the way to escape, Bamboo Moon used the forbidden secret technique to steal energy many times to revive the five-colored flag and open many space-time cracks to escape. But when they came to the incomplete universe, Bamboo Moon acted like she was fine. Suyin thought that the forbidden secret technique didn't hurt Bamboo Moon much. But all of this was just Bamboo Moon pretending to be calm. She didn't want Suyin to worry about her safety. Until now, Suyin understood that Bamboo Moon's problem was serious. It was so serious that it was hard to treat. "I am such a jerk." Suyin gritted his teeth. His eyes turned red. He didn't expect the forbidden secret technique to hurt Bamboo Moon so much. It hurt her foundation, and her essence energy was greatly damaged. She might even die at any moment. When a master of the Han family used the Blood Soul technique, many people in Grand Dao City felt that he wouldn't be able to live unless they could find a medicine to extend his life. This forbidden secret technique that could increase one's strength was stronger than the Blood Soul technique. Hence, it hurt Bamboo Moon a lot. Some medicine couldn't help her at all. Zhu Yu had persevered until now and finally reached her limit. Her dim eyes closed slightly, and her snow-white skin lost its former luster. "Bamboo Moon! Bamboo Moon!" Suyin called out. Although his voice was soft, the truth was that it contained an extremely powerful primordial spirit awakening power. Even so, Suyin wasn't able to awaken Bamboo Moon. She had fallen into a deep slumber, and the dying fires of life within her body were faintly about to extinguish. Buzz! Suyin's pupils widened in anger. Two balls of terrifying divine light burned in his eyes. He clenched his fists tightly, and his heart felt like it was being pricked by needles. He hugged Bamboo Moon's slightly cold body and growled, "Nothing will happen to you, absolutely not." Bang! In a flash, he disappeared from his original spot and left the area. Using the earth shrinking technique, Suyin scanned the surroundings and quickly found a remote and secluded valley. Suyin's feet landed on the ground. His hands hugged her delicate body, which was gradually turning cold. His pair of sharp eyes shot out of blazing brilliance, as if he was splitting the sky and earth apart. A kind of profound meaning of the beginning of all things flowed out from his flesh shell. Due to the previous time at Sky Bamboo Mountain, Suyin's cultivation had skyrocketed. As a result, the profound meaning of the beginning of all things was filled with vitality that could revive all things. He was changing the heaven and earth here. With the supreme means of the strange gate, he forcefully shook the terrain. With the profound meaning of the beginning of all things, he restored life to this land of death. Moreover, this valley seemed to have turned into a huge array disk. This was the great Tao heavenly mark that was derived from Suyan's feet. It contained the power of the beginning of all things. It extended out and covered the entire valley. When the array disk was born, the atmosphere of the valley was completely different. It was filled with vitality, especially in the incomplete universe that was close to death. It was especially eye-catching as it bloomed with auspicious clouds and emitted a vast tide of vitality. Ah! Suyin looked up to the sky and roared. As his physical body spat out, his divine essence leaked out. This was not an ordinary energy. This was Suyan's natal divine power. It poured out endlessly. His body was like a great Tao divine cave that was glowing. Thousands of strands of natal divine power poured out. At the same time, Bamboo Moon was also floating in the void. To be precise, the natal divine power that was leaking out of Su Yan's body formed a huge energy field that enveloped Bamboo Moon. At the same time, Su Yan's natal divine power drilled into Bamboo Moon's cold body. This energy was gentle and strong, containing the tide of vitality. He was extending Bamboo Moon's life. He wanted to use his own natal divine power to extend Bamboo Moon's life essence that was about to extinguish. Bamboo Moon's delicate body floated in the air. Her snow-white, slender body flowed with divine light. Su Yan's natal divine power was vigorous and powerful. It constantly gathered in Bamboo Moon's body. But the result made Su Yan's heart tremble. No matter how strong his natal divine power was, Bamboo Moon's body could not absorb it. It was as if her body was dying. Su Yan could only open his eye of a universe to observe Bamboo Moon's body. At this moment, Su Yan's face changed. If Bamboo Moon's cultivation realm was not high, and she had begun to accumulate the foundation of the Divine King, then Bamboo Moon's body would have been torn apart. Her internal injuries were too severe. They were filled with dense cracks. Bamboo Moon's body was like a shattered starry sky. It was riddled with holes that could not heal or absorb any energy. How can this be? Why? Su Yan lost control of his emotions. His face was somewhat malevolent. It must be because Bamboo Moon knew her own situation. She did not utter a word. She had been enduring and silently searching for a solution, but she could not find it. She was now like a lamp that had run out of oil. He was still constantly stimulating the vast life essence in his body. He hoped that Bamboo Moon could absorb it, even if it was to prevent her injuries from worsening. But he could not do it. He tried many methods, but Su Yan could not do it. Moreover, he had been using his strongest foundation for a long period of time. Su Yan's appearance was somewhat aged, weathered, and even somewhat pitiful. He was like an injured beast, growling constantly. He never imagined that things would become so serious. By the time Su Yan discovered it, it was already too late. I will not let you leave me. There must be a way. There must be. Bamboo Moon is not at the point of being a lamp that has run out of oil. There must be a way to save Bamboo Moon. Su Yan's eyes were blazing. They were even more frightening than knives. Soon, he thought of the divine medicine. The divine medicine should be able to save Bamboo Moon. But the divine medicine was too precious. It was impossible to buy even if one wanted to. It was a priceless item that could not be measured with money. I have a human-shaped puppet on me. I should be able to exchange it for the divine medicine. Even Hokuto has the Big Dipper divine medicine. I have to leave this place. Su Yan's eyes surged with cold air. He had to find a way out. Otherwise, they would be trapped here. Every minute they were delayed would be a fatal threat to Bamboo Moon. Then, Su Yan's eyes looked toward the sky. He was thinking whether he could open up the sky and blast open a world path to charge out of this place. But doing so would be very dangerous. It was very likely that they would all die. The success rate of this method was very slim. Su Yan could not afford to gamble on it now. I can't take the risk now. If something happens, I won't be able to protect Bamboo Moon. Su Yan frowned, but his hands did not stop. He was constantly consuming his own life force to cleanse Bamboo Moon's body. Although it could not heal her injuries, it could slow down the time for them to deteriorate. Just when Su Yan's mind was in a mess, he vaguely caught a wisp of murderous aura. It was a very cold, murderous aura. It was coming from a distant world and was approaching them. Su Yan's face was gloomy. Someone was coming. It must be an expert from the sealed heaven region. I can feel the aura of life. In this incomplete universe, there is no one but him. Then it must be Su Yan. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that Chioji, would be the first to discover Su Yan. A shadow rushed over. Chioji's aura was very strong. He had stepped into the peak heavenly god realm a few years ago. He had begun to accumulate the foundation of the Divine King. If the sealed heaven region did not have a sudden change, he would usually cultivate until he reached the Divine King realm. Only then would he come out to explore the world. Soon, Chioji found a figure sitting cross-legged in a remote valley. The life force in his body was constantly gushing out. This made Xiao Ji suspicious. What's going on? Is Su Yin using his own divine technique? Leaking the life force in his body was tantamount to seeking death. No matter how strong one's foundation was, they would not dare to do so. I see. Xiao Ji smiled coldly. He saw Su Yin treating a woman. He came to the valley and stood on a small hill. He clasped his hands behind his back and watched the scene quietly. He thought that Su Yin would run away, but he did not expect that Su Yin would sit cross-legged and use his own life force to heal the woman's injured body. In the end, Xiao Ji smiled and said, Su Yin, this is the first time we meet. I didn't expect to see such a loyal and righteous person like you. Let me guess who this woman is. If I'm not wrong, she should be the bamboo moon of the heavenly bamboo lineage, right? His voice was loud, and it spread throughout the valley. However, Xiao Ji did not hear a reply. He smiled coldly and said, Su Yin, you're too boring. My sealed heaven region sent the top 10 Ingjie to kill you. But if you continue to waste your life force like this, how can the sealed heaven 10 heroes have the face to return? Do you want to tell the world that the sealed heaven 10 heroes only brought back Su Yan's aged corpse? Su Yin sat cross-legged in the valley. He looked a little bald. He turned his head slightly, revealing an old and weathered face. A pair of cold eyes stared at Xiao Ji. He wondered if the ancient scriptures in the realm of sealing heaven and sealing heaven decimating earth could seal Zhu Yu. Hee, no answer, boring. Xiao Ji's face turned cold. A crystal-clear jade bottle appeared in his hand, and he said coldly, Su Yin, as long as you kneel down and beg me, I will give you a miraculous medicine. My clan's sealed heaven elixir can seal her injured body. Sealed heaven elixir. Su Yan's eyes rippled with excitement. He knew that this miraculous medicine was unique to the sealed heaven region. Yes, it's the sealed heaven elixir. Only my sealed heaven region can produce this rare elixir. Xiao Ji sneered and said, kneel down and beg me. I can give you the sealed heaven elixir, but after that, give it to me. Su Yin stared at Xiao Ji and interrupted him. He also said something that left no room for doubt. Xiao Ji's face darkened, and he said coldly, I said, kneel down and beg me. Before he could finish, a terrifying murderous aura bloomed, darkening the sky and overflowing with cold, murderous intent. Xiao Ji's face changed. This aura was so fierce that it hurt his face. I said, give it to me. A low, deep, and hoarse voice exploded. Su Yin, who was sitting cross-legged, did not move. However, a bright divine light surged out from his flesh shell, and it outlined a vague yet enormous figure that traversed the sky and pounced over fiercely.